Good morning. Today, we're covering Smash drama. Now, before I click off the video, if there's one thing I've learned from being terminally online half my life, it's that fighting game drama never disappoints. Now, it's kind of up to say that, because on one hand, a player has died because of this drama. However, on the other hand, a top player has lied about having sex with his mother for pity points because of this drama.
I spent an entire night listening to how his mother's pussy is moist.
How? It's kind of a mixed bag, and I don't really know how to frame it. But before the video starts, I want to give you guys like a basic rundown on what's happened up until this point. So basically, there's a player called Leffen. Now, in my opinion, Leffen is kind of a pile of garbage. The problem is that he's a high-standing player in the melee community, and he would kind of use this position to like bully other people, to intimidate other people. And this is pretty well documented, because like back in the day in 2013, the community took note of this, and they banned him indefinitely from participating because of like toxic behavior. Now, since then, the ban has been lifted, but it doesn't really seem like he's changed. It seems like old habits stay hard. Stay hard? Is that what they say? Old habits die hard. But that was until another top player called Hacks made a video on Leffen called evidence.zip. In the video, Hacks will go over in like 2 hours Leffen's various like misconducts and misbehaviors in the community in what I think is an attempt to just reinstate the ban on Leffen. Now, while I agree that Leffen should be banned, the way he went about it in the video wasn't that great. It was in fact so schizo that he got banned from playing himself for making the video. And since then, Hacks has stayed banned, and he didn't really take it well because melee was his life. He played it more than he did anything else. So he tried everything he could, he tried to apologize, but the melee community would not budge. So unfortunately, at some point, he tried to take his own life. Now, thankfully he survived that, but later he died due to medical complications from the attempt. Today we're going to be taking a look at how horribly this was handled by the melee community. There you go. Enjoy the video.
Today, I'm going to be talking on a tragic thing that happened this morning. The legendary Super Smash Bros. Melee player, Hacks Money, has tragically passed away.
Hacks in the Melee community passed away today.
Hacks Money passed away. There was a lot of dark things surrounding the lead up to this.
Yeah, just RIP to Hacks.
This run is for Hacks Money. Yeah, rest in peace, Hacks Money. In all seriousness, that's very sad that he passed away.
This video is about Hacks, my friend who passed away.
We were made aware of his hospitalization 24 hours prior to his passing, thanks to the efforts of his mom.
Yet I only knew him for 3 months, and I feel like I've lost a good friend.
He defended me, and I should have been braver for him.
The way that Hacks' ban and now his death are being treated is a joke.
For you guys to put somebody in this box, ruin their reputation, ruin their livelihood, and then this person who clearly needs this game, you drove him to kill himself.
And you say, where are the bad guys? That we bully people to death. That was not I. It was not I that kept Hacks from playing Super Smash Bros. Melee with his handicapped accessible device. It was not I that gaslit him and celebrated him being banned from the Melee tournaments. It was you, Leffen. It was you, Leffen.
Welcome back, Hacks. Welcome back. New York City is on the map. Whoa. New York City is on the map!
Well, we did it, everyone. Leffen is finally safe. And we couldn't have done it without the hard-working volunteers that keep the Smash community running like a well-oiled Diddy party. Now, before you start furiously typing away in the comments section, yes, this video is monetized, and despite how much I love grifting, the money is instead going to someone who really needs it. Mewtwo King. Hold on, I can explain. I asked Hacks' mom ahead of time where I could wire the money for this video because I figured the GoFundMe would be closed by the time I uploaded, and she told me to just send it to him. So I guess that's what we're doing. If you do want to support Hacks' mom, there is some nice memorial merch that she dropped. It looks actually pretty good. I copped a hat and shirt myself. And congratulations to Jason for robbing a hardworking African American. I'm just joking. /J. But seriously, Mewtwo King being the GOAT of Smash,
This like, dude, I'm not gonna like make someone feel bad for making money. But it's when your son dies and you sell merch. I don't know, man. Memorial merch. That's I have never seen that. That's the first time I'm seeing that. That's what I'm gonna say. Maybe a little tasteless. I'm not sure. Just noting that. That's kind of I haven't seen that.
Really meant a lot for him to stand up for Hacks when a lot of people just wanted to remain quiet. So I will forever respect Jason for that. Thank you so much.
Nobody else is speaking up, and it's like, if I don't, then his life is screwed. And I think this is wrong, so I wanted to speak up. I'm just doing it because I thought it was the right thing to do, and I want to help my friend, you know?
Go show him some love and support, too. Now that we got the jokes and the shilling out of the way, let's talk about why you're all really here. Unfortunately, I'm making this video because Abdul Aziz Hacks Money Al-Yami, a Melee legend and entrepreneur behind the box, passed away on March 25th, 2025 due to medical complications following his attempt from August where he jumped in front of a subway and had to get his leg amputated.
Oh, he didn't actually kill himself in the end. It was complications because he tried to do it earlier. Okay, that I thought that it was like an actual kiss. You know, when he was in the hospital, but
And that's just your test socket.
It sort of
That's
was.
just your chest disease. I was worried. Oh, you look good, Aziz. You don't even look like you have a prosthetic on.
Oh my goodness, it works. I can't believe it. This kind of feels like a real lead. Now this is like very mildly painful. Do you think it'll get better?
This series of events is fairly multifaceted, and I will be getting into the details later, but it stemmed primarily from his deteriorating mental health attributed to his prolonged and mishandled ban from competing in Melee, a community where he built his life, business, and identity for the past 2 decades.
20% of Hax's life was just playing Melee. 20%. Mind you, sleep makes the 30%. So between sleeping and Melee was half this man's life. And you know, toilet is about 10%.
But personally, I believe a mixture of alcohol, depression, harassment, and isolation is ultimately what led us to where we are now. Most of you might remember the video I made 10 months ago titled The Victims of Leffen, which I made for the express purpose of helping Hax get unbanned by showing people his perspective on Leffen after he nuked his own credibility with his original 2.5-hour video essay titled Evidence.zip2.
I think we watched this whole thing. Yeah, we watched this like when it came out, and this was years ago, and it was super schizo. At a certain point in the video, he brought up that I think it was that Leffen used the same sweater with 3 stripes every time he would fight him or something as like a bullying tactic or just to show down, something like that. It was just like, so he really used every bit of ammunition that he thought he had, and it just backfired so hard. It was so schizo, man.
Competition in 2021.
There's a quote that goes, "The greater the crime perpetrated by the leadership, the less likely the people will ever believe their leaders
And there's a Hitler quote.
while perpetrating such an event." That is unfortunately a Hitler quote, but it's one that's very applicable to the current situation.
If you were able to look past the comparisons to Hitler, he actually made decent arguments that ended up being overshadowed by constant mentions of totalitarian dictatorships and Machiavellianism. However, that was 4 years ago. Over the past 4 years, Hax made consistent progress as far as condemning those original comparisons, apologized to Leffen and the community non-stop, and disavowed any harassment he potentially incited.
I'm making this video to apologize to those who were harmed by the reckless release of a controversial video that I posted on June 4th of last year.
Just an irresponsible outburst with no bad intentions, 10 hours of fully edited video content, collaborating with others, calling me Hitler and evil incarnate, doubling down over and over for months, and then literally never even apologizing to me for any of it. I've been scared to go to every single Smash event since.
How's it going, Melee community? I'd like to sincerely apologize for the way in which I recently took a personal feud, overblew it, and basically turned it into the entire community's problem. So far, in fact, that I need to extend an apology to Leffen for some of the things that I said about him along the way, as they were uncalled for. How's it going, everyone? It's Hax. I must sincerely apologize to Leffen and also Jisoo. What's going on, everyone? It's Hax. First one that I want to address.
He made like so many apology videos. Like every year since he posted the evidence thing and it backfired, he was like, I'm sorry. Can I play Smash? I just want to play Melee. I just want to play the game. I just want to fight because he's a really good player. He made his own controller for the game. And like he really was into the scene and everything. He was like, please, guys, can I just... Okay. Can I just play the game now? I really just want to play the game. And they were just like, no, you can't play the game. You're evil and you're a terrorist and kiss. Like, that's what they said, basically. It was horrible.
Controversy with Leffen from a couple of years ago. I just want him to know that I'm truly sorry for all of that. Despite our differences, I respect him a lot as a competitor. And I'm sorry for ever projecting that type of negativity onto his name. I'm sorry for the hyperbole and paranoia that I exhibited on the original video. I confess that this was unnecessary. While the metagame revision was triggering, it wasn't the end of the world as I made it out to be. I apologize to Leffen and the community for...
What else could you do? I mean, they could just do something else. But I mean, like, if you're that deep into the Melee scene and it's like such a big deal to you, like, I mean, a lot of people made their careers on this, like Hbox, Muty King. Well, it's like their career. It's like it becomes such a big part of your life, so that when you get tossed out of it, you get so alienated, and you're like, how do you recover from that? Really, like all of your eggs are in this one basket, and then it just gets cut off. Like, what do you do? It's really
sincerely
sad.
apologize to Leffen, who I've wronged very extensively throughout this process, despite the fact that I've gone well out of my way to try to never admit to that. Leffen, I'm sorry to you for the pain and suffering that I've brought to you over the course of these past few years. As I've confided in you before, I'm not in the best of health. I hope that despite everything that's happened, we can make amends, put this in the past, and make an agreement to do what's best for the game. I will leave that up to you. I'd like to extend the olive branch by letting him know that this feud...
The guy wasn't joking. Hax was 8 hours a day of Melee for 15 years straight. Yeah. He really liked Melee, and yeah. So when you take that away from him, it was really bad.
Is in the past. I want better.
And that's definitely why they apologized for 4 years straight.
For the troubles that I caused him and the community as well.
It's insane that they would like just keep him banned for that long. Are there anyone who got banned from Smash and just never ever like indefinite permaban forever? How many years? How many years is enough?
And yet his ban persisted, despite everyone claiming to want to give him a second chance and agreeing that he was not a danger to anyone. The most consistent argument cited for this was that he had an unhealthy relationship with Melee and they were banning him for his own mental health. Now, I'm not a licensed therapist, but just based on results, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they did a pretty terrible job. I already talked about this previously, so if you know about the ban situation, you can skip to this timestamp. But to save you new people who just learned about this from bouncing around—
Yeah, some people are asking here, what is the ban about and what's the drama? I guess we'll watch the whole thing.
Around a million videos, I'll reiterate exactly why the whole thing makes no sense before I jump into the new information. And let me tell you, you might not want to skip because there's going to be some new info in here. You're going to feel real stupid if you miss out on that. Who knows, you might miss something if you hit that timestamp. I'm warning you now. This video is going to serve as the complete chronicling of Hax's case and a—
There's a council that created a document with players that should not be allowed to play. For example, Zero Wondering. Yeah, but what the did Zero do? Like, didn't Zero's allegations turn out to be like an entire nothing burger at some point? Wasn't that the whole thing? Like, it wasn't even that bad, but they just like, this guy, and it was just over.
Critical look into the failings of the Smash community as a whole. Didn't realize I was flashbanging you guys. Also, just warning you guys ahead of time, I will be leaking so make sure to raise your hand when I call your name. Hi! Good. First off, there's a common misconception that Hax's decline was solely because he got banned from a video game, and he was just a man-child who needed to grow up. While I definitely can see the valid argument there, there's places where that would make sense. If you were to take any hobby or extracurricular activity, like sports, games, arts and crafts, thrifting, if you take any of that and turn it into your livelihood, at what point does it cease being a surface-level activity and instead becomes an integral part of your life? For instance, if you forcibly took basketball away from LeBron James, is he mentally ill for wanting to play again? Is Leonardo da Vinci a schizophrenic if when you lock up his paintbrushes, he begs for them back? Is Beethoven just a crazy homeless guy if you blind him in both eyes so he can't hear or see music? Of course, you could dumb all these down to, it's just a ball in a hoop, it's just colors on a canvas, or sounds in a room. But there's clearly something missing from that interpretation. These people wouldn't have done what they did, nor achieved nearly as great acclaim as they did, if it weren't for the passion to turn something mundane into a timeless tribute to their craft. My point isn't that Hax was the LeBron James of Melee, because I know your dumbass was already drafting the tweet. My point is that Melee wasn't just a game to him. The earliest recorded event he attended was in 2006.
I first met this dude back at Pound 3. He was teaming with J-Man, and they were going by the tags of like the Little Rascals, and I just remember they were just like destroying some of like the OGs, like Shoot At and Chillin' Dude.
That would mean that he was
To be
playing
fair, it's still
Melee
just not in tournaments. Yeah, but it's like, but that's where you go. That's the whole point. Everything else, other than tournaments, is just grinding. And the tournament is where everyone else gathers. The entire community gathers. Your entire group of friends gathers to do this thing that is the most fun part. The highlight of your fucking year. That's where that. He just can't participate in that. He can't play. No, it's pretty bad.
He was 12 years old. Most of his friends, income, and identity all came from the same place because that was his lifestyle. It was the only thing he knew from adolescence to adulthood. 12 to 30. He even got surgery on his hands just to keep competing at a top level, and when that didn't work, he invented a new controller and a company that would help countless others overcome the same obstacles. You can say it's stupid to dedicate your life to a game, but I can guarantee that 99% of you will never have an impact on a community like Hax did. If you don't understand how it could possibly feel to lose your passion in life and then have it dangled in front of you while they mock your desperation, then I honestly don't know how else to convey the tragedy of this situation. But my goal is that hopefully by the end of this video, I can change a few minds. Hax's initial ban for the extreme arguments against Leffen made in his June 2021 events.zip2 video lasted way longer than anyone agrees was necessary.
I still think they're wrong altogether, because in my head, if I was doing the ban powers, A, take the video down, you're good. That's all it should have been. Hey bro, that's a wild video. Don't call Leffen Hitler. Take the video down, you're good. Okay, cool.
The biggest issue that Keels had is that the initial ban was handled about as poorly as it physically could have been. Like, you do need to own up to the fact that, like, yeah, we really f***ed up there.
We don't have structure in the scene. And what happens is the toothpaste gets out of the tube and it's like, oh, this guy's banned. Okay, for how long? Oh, we'll figure it out. But there's no governing body to figure it out. No TO wants to unban him first, right? That's gonna get you in trouble. I see these situations happen and it makes it painfully real that, like, I don't think Smash can govern itself.
I mean, I think no matter what, I don't think Hacks should have been lifetime banned, and I think most people agree with that.
He was banned indefinitely, meaning that there was no definition. They didn't discuss any duration or potential appeal process for over 2 years. In their ban statement, their major concerns were the totalitarian regime comparisons, the length of the coverage, and they specifically defended Leffen by saying that he did not speak out for personal gain against Zero after grooming allegations emerged, and that Hacks, speculating whether Leffen preferred if Zero were dead, constituted harassment and defamation of character to a point where they did not feel comfortable allowing him at events. Obviously, the first 2 points have merit, and I think that's the main reason why most people, including myself, thought that maybe a small ban, or even just telling him to take down the videos, would have been sufficient. But it's the second half where things start to get weird. Let's get some facts straight. Leffen did not start speaking out against Zero after the grooming allegations. It was before. In fact, in an additional write-up from one of the organizers who made this statement, Mikey, the cheat, had to correct himself after wrongly alleging that Leffen and Jisoo didn't convene before posting their statements that were entirely unrelated to the allegations being referenced here. Also, just given the recent fact that Leffen doesn't give a about Hacks actually dying.
If I say something, they'll be mad. If I don't say something, they'll be mad. I'd rather just not talk about it if I can't. Like, I'd rather not play the game if I can't win. I think there's anything I can ever do that will make these people happy.
In hindsight, it makes this other claim seem all the more plausible, but that's still ignoring the other problem with Mikey's statement, where he needed an entire paragraph just to address how uncharitable his write-up was. For example, he left in a comparison of Hacks supporters to QAnon followers that believe in the harvesting of adrenochrome from children. That's a far cry from a totalitarian regime, I'll tell you what. Mikey and the organizers behind this decision unnecessarily went out of their way to defend Leffen lying, while pretending to care about defamation and citing legal cases they are unqualified to handle, then flat out refused to ever relitigate this decision in any meaningful capacity.
Let's talk about the trolley problem. You've probably heard of something like this before. There's a trolley that's speeding down its tracks out of control, and there are 5 people tied to the tracks directly in front of it. You're standing at a lever, and if you pull the lever, it will switch the trolley onto another track that only has 1 person tied to it. The choice is between doing nothing and letting 5 people die in the process, but not being directly responsible for those deaths, or pulling the lever and killing 1 person, but you killed that 1 person.
Whoa, man. This aged like
I think of myself as a consequentialist or a utilitarian. The most important thing to consider when analyzing our actions is the effect that they have. Minimizing harm and maximizing happiness is what we should be aiming for. And this is the lens through which I view things like community misconduct, which is an issue that's important to me as a Super Smash Bros. Tournament organizer.
Hey Mikey, as a consequentialist, do you feel like you maximized happiness and minimized harm? Let's get a poll going in the comments. 1 for yes, 2 for no,
2?
and 3 if you think Mikey needs to shave.
In March of 2021, Zero attempted suicide. It's clear, again, that the psychological effects of losing one's community, of losing one's support system, being ostracized, being publicly shamed, can have devastating effects on someone.
Yeah.
Everyone go ahead and give a big round of applause to Mikey for pulling the lever.
5 Leffens. I'm done.
As we now know, Hacks was indefinitely banned on June 24th, 2021. It wouldn't be until September 19th, 2022, that specifically NYC Melee, not the full group of organizers who banned him previously, decided that an indefinite ban was unfair, and they'd essentially give him the equivalent of parole starting on January 1st, 2023.
Oh,
a
really?
full 1 year and 6 months after his initial punishment. Additionally, he was given 4 rules that he had to follow, otherwise they would ban him for life. Number 1, the banned individual releases no further public statements about fellow community members, which can be considered in violation of COC Rules 2.2.1 and 2.3.3. That would be the rules outlining directed and malicious intimidation, harassment, or bullying, and repeated unwanted advances on another participant through online means. Number 2, the banned individual engages in no additional interviews or public discussions on the topic of their ban for their own social media channels or any others. Yes,
I mean,
it's exactly what it sounds like. That is a gag order for video game drama. Number 3, the banned individual does not seek to further appeal this ban with the NYC Melee tournament organizers. Well, they were unbanning him, so I don't see how this one makes any sense. And number 4, the banned individual does not ask to be reinstated as part of the NYC Melee tournament organizing group, even after the ban is lifted. If you're unaware why this one's important, NYC Melee's biggest event is known as The Nightclub, but it used to go by a very different name. Before Hacks got banned, it was promptly titled Hacks' Nightclub. The second he got blacklisted, they scrubbed his name off his own event, and when they unbanned him, he wasn't even allowed to ask to be reinstated. Whoever said second chances don't exist?
What was the name of the event before that? Hacks Nightclub? Oh. Damn, I didn't know that's what it was called. Yeah, that's up, bro. That's up.
But of course, after he passed away, they made a—
That's crazy they would just like keep running his event. Like it's his thing, and they're like banning him, and they're like, no, it's ours now. It's just remove the name. It's fine. It was literally what they did. The name is just gone, and just like, no, it's a nightclub. That's fine. I mean, that's too far. Like, no matter what you think about this, that's too fucking far. Like, your own event, you make another one.
a touching gesture by closing their doors for the week, which made up for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, that didn't go over so well. To be honest, anything short of making Hax's friend Wes the head TO, who was running a tournament with him before he passed away, and changing the name back to Hax's nightclub will not save the tarnished image of that event and the staff who run it. I spoke to a few players in the NYC community at a dinner after his funeral, and that seemed to be the general sentiment. You can roll the die on that, but hey, I'm just a messenger. Hey guys, Editor Tech here with some breaking news. Wes actually started a tournament series called 20XX to honor Hax and his legacy, and a day after he announced it, NYC Melee came back from their hiatus to announce a name change to NYC Melee's stock exchange, and then blamed other people for the ban being mishandled. But they're an entirely new team. Well, that's a lie, because the old head TO stepped down shortly after Hax's permanent ban, and this new team was present the entire time and only implemented these new appeal systems and transparency after his passing, which I can only assume is because they didn't want to lose attendance or their place in the community to Wes. So if you're in New York, these guys, go to Wes's tournament. Thank you.
Wow.
Normally, when you're on parole, in real life, it
NYC Melee is actually a bunch of rats. Actually a bunch of rats. Holy shit. And it's like so transparent too. Like, what are they thinking?
Actually ends at some point, and you're just allowed to live your life when it's over. You would probably think that if your crime was making a couple unhinged YouTube videos, that possibly, after participating in 34 events over the course of a year with no incidents, keeping the parole active at that point, for a video game community, seems a little overkill. A full year and 20 days after his conditional unban, the full list of organizers had still not officially done anything about his ban situation, and he was unable to attend major events like Genesis that year.
On Twitter, I had no intention of sabotaging his weekend. I just wanted to let people know how much I miss being able to attend events like Big House and Genesis.
One of the largest video game tournaments on the West Coast is taking place in San Jose.
The largest Super Smash Bros. Tournament in the world. Welcome to Genesis.
I hope that video right there is not why I got that. That was like the parole break. If that's the parole break, like, I swear to God I don't know. But if it is, that would be kind of. I mean, it's so funny but also sad.
Hear the cheers, the boos. Boo. Boo, nigga, get off the screen. Boo. And after 2 years, 11 months, and 28 days, Hax's ban was still officially indefinite. Keep in mind that he was not, in fact, actually unbanned ever. Most of the events he attended were online ones hosted by Hbox and his local event, the Nightclub, with a small handful of bigger events like Level Up Expo, DreamHack, Smash Factor, Creed, and Tipped Off 14. This is where the gaslighting starts to kick in, so pay close attention. Because Hax was still limited in the scope of what he could participate in after over a year of good behavior, he began to think that the problem wasn't whether he was a threat, but rather that people still saw his initial criticisms as malicious and baseless, and viewed him as an antagonist. And in order to fix this, he'd have to set the record straight.
I'm making this video because at this point I've determined that certain things will never be resolved unless I provide a proper explanation for my actions from a few years ago. At the bottom of Armada's post, it mentioned that there were testimonies written during this time period which contained sensitive information. I was actually the one who submitted these testimonies to tournament organizers 12 days later on February 21st, 2013. These testimonies are collectively known as evidence.zip.
That resulted in Leffen's infamous ban in 2013, that he still doesn't think he deserved.
People know about the evidence.zip, and although I do not think that was deserved, like being banned for it.
However, even without a single reference to dictators or Machiavellianism, and despite an apology to Leffen and the community in that video,
I'm pleading for some empathy from community leaders and tournament organizers given how extreme these circumstances were. I was having a difficult time accepting these circumstances back when they were ongoing, and should have refrained from responding to them so hastily. I'm sorry for the hyperbole and paranoia that I exhibited on the original video. I confess that this was unnecessary. I apologize to Leffen and the community for projecting that narrative.
This still technically broke Article 2 of his parole. So 2 days later, NYC Melee announced a permanent ban, and the group who hadn't decided a length for his ban in 3 years miraculously reunited. And after only 11 days, announced a global permanent ban from ever competing in Melee again. So I guess they can come to a decision after all.
To be honest, I feel like what gives me strength is the idea that I think Melee is dope, and I think anybody who thinks that it's dope should be able to play it without a problem. And so if anybody's creating a problem for somebody who wants to play Melee, then I feel like they've got a problem with me. So that's what lets me feel strong and saying like, yeah, I'm a cuck. I'm simping for anybody who wants to play Melee. I want to understand how you
Wait, what? I don't understand. Where did that come from?
Stop us from playing a video game in America. In a toxic relationship, they gaslight you, bro. They do all sorts of things that make you question your own sanity. Don't listen to them. We need to stop listening to them.
I'm heartbroken to hear about Hax's passing. He was loved by many, and I'll never forget the time we spent together. Double Falcon with Hax may have been the most fun I ever had playing the game. It really hurts to feel like I couldn't do anything to help such a dear friend. R.I.P. Well, I wouldn't say you couldn't do anything. I mean, you could have started by saying literally anything about his situation at any point in time. If you really want to know how to stop people from playing a video game in America, you should ask your friends. Because at this point, they've stopped more people from playing Melee than Nintendo. Fun fact, NYC Melee gave a 2-month ban for a TO and photographer telling multiple people to kill themselves, and only a 2-year ban for a player guilty of unwanted sexual advances over a call. They were trying to force someone to give them sexual gratification and then guilt trip them afterwards. Meanwhile, Hax's crime was explaining himself, apologizing, and got banned for the rest of his life. Yeah, I might off myself for landing myself here. I've been in the scene for nearly 20 years. You know, a few years ago, all I had to do was quote retweet you and
That's sick. Like he tried to apologize, and that's because he tried to apologize. It's a permaban. It's like, how the
blame that you're right, and it'd be a different.
They just don't like him.
I don't think that's a good idea, Hax. There's more to life than Melee. Well, regardless, I want to leave the Melee scene with some things to think about, so I will proceed with the plan. I'll run it by you as I go along. Alright, but don't do anything rash. I don't plan on helping you write your own suicide note. I've already committed suicide. In Melee, there's still so much more in not only the gaming sphere, but the world. Yeah, of course, but within Melee, I have to fix the misconception that I was the antagonist here. A majority of people did not have a problem with Hax's January ban appeal video, or Hax for that matter, and that's reflected not only in the response to their decision, but the fact that later they would eventually discuss repealing it anyways. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Mikey and the head TO of NYC Melee would attempt to minimize this negative criticism by blaming me, obviously, but also pulling the classic Redditor's gambit, writing a bunch of meaningless and hoping that everyone blindly trusts you based on the word count instead of looking into the substance of what you're saying. Let's start off with Willie P's statement, who I've been informed is now trans and goes by Julia. I didn't know that, so just thought you should know in case you get confused with the name swap. Hax's video before Big House by itself violated at least one of the clauses. We did not want to ban him for that though. Wow, how thoughtful of them. Julia just outlined exactly why the parole clauses were seemingly written by child. The video being referenced here that violated a clause is a 3-minute long apology to the community in Leffen, condemning his past videos and the alleged harassment Leffen was receiving after Hax posted a Twitter apology doing the same thing. How could an apology possibly cause someone to get harassed, you might ask? Well, good question. In response to that apology, Leffen decided to lie about him never apologizing, even though he apologized 3 times before making the post, which also happened to be an apology itself. Then Leffen deleted the tweet after realizing he lied and dropped out of the upcoming major tournament Big House the next day because he was now allegedly receiving
this is what I'm talking about. It was just like, whenever he gets any sort of backlash, whenever he does something wrong, it's just like, dude, people are giving me death threats. There's death threats. Now he has the justification to just be like, no, I'm the victim here, and I'm gonna pull out to the tournament. Please feel sorry for me. I didn't do anything wrong. It's classic.
Now, you as the viewer probably look at this situation and think, well, that's odd, but I can agree that death threats are bad, and then you'd move on with your day. Well, not if you're a Smash organizer, because they looked at this situation, and with their unrivaled intellect in handling conduct issues, decided that it was 100% correlation equal causation. It's Hax's fault that Leffen received a random threat. According to them, it couldn't have possibly been because Leffen was leveraging falsehoods and abusing victim status to continue alienating a guy he historically bullied. No. It was Hax's fault for making him lie and forcing him to piss people off. And these idiots actually expect you to uncritically agree with this narrative.
And not once in any of these video makings have I ever thought Hax was a real threat to a tournament. The only person that he was supposedly a threat to was Leffen, and Leffen is known to embellish literally everything.
I do not believe Hax himself encouraged the threats or harassment against others, but whether intentional or not, when your consistent actions have consistent consequences, it is up to you to correct that, or to plain stop those actions. After some time to reflect on my previous arguments, I finally understand why they kept explaining his ban like this, but let's look at Mikey's statement before I expose this little revelation. To be clear, Hax is permanently banned from Smash tournaments for defamatory claims that he made about Leffen, including alleging without any evidence that he conspired to make false allegations of sexual misconduct against Zero for his personal gain. I'm gonna stop you right there, Mikey. If you wanted to make this argument in 2024, you'd have to ignore at least 2 facts. 1. Jisoo and Leffen spoke about him supporting her and spreading her message before she even posted a single tweet. Furthermore, she messaged me yesterday and asked for advice for how to deal with this very nuanced situation about...
I'm gonna be real. Whenever we talk about Jisoo, I don't know who the Jisoo is. I just completely lose track of everything. I have no idea who that is. Who?
Zero, and if she should, say something. We don't talk much to be clear, but she said she trusted my judgment. Not sure I'm deserving of it, so I tried my best to give her advice. You can certainly debate the contents of their private conversation, but premeditation is an indisputable fact. Secondly, Jisoo admitted to lying herself. That's not my opinion, and it's not a conspiracy theory. In the legal...
Was Jisoo the person that like that Zero was like sexting or something? Zero is Jisoo? What? No. Zero is not a girl, he's a guy. And he has not gone trans. He's been going to the gym instead. He went the opposite direction. He became more manly. He became a Chad.
Settlement as of September 10th, 2022, so I don't know how you missed it. Jisoo apologized for making inaccurate statements about Zero's ex-wife Vanessa, which to be clear, refers to Jisoo lying about Vanessa being 15 and Zero being 20 when they started dating.
Wait, what was the name? Vanessa, it's not Jisoo. Yeah, so it's different.
So she to Jisoo lying about Vanessa being 15 and Zero being 20 when they started dating. She did this so she could frame their relationship as grooming in her document.
Well, how old were they actually?
Off of nothing but conjecture. If she truly wasn't attempting to be bad faith or malicious when she posted the allegations, she could
How old was Vanessa when they were dating Zero then?
have easily verified, like she claimed to in the first sentence of her document, something as simple as an age. Instead, she poisoned the well with misinformation that incited people to demand for Vanessa's birth certificate. She also spent no time vetting the several other stories that were gathered for this mega document, but that's a conversation for another video. When Leffen supported this campaign with her, he neglected to confirm any of the information he was co-signing, and co-signed her again after knowing she lied the first time in the very lawsuit that proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt. If that wasn't bad enough, that's also ignoring how Leffen signal boosted Mewtwo King's false allegations, who now regrets accepting his apology and wants him banned from the community.
Oh yeah, this was also because Leffen, there were a bunch of, I think it was like in 2021 or something, when there was like a million allegations happening in the Smash community all at once. Mewtwo King, like Jason Zimmerman here, caught a stray bullet. And someone's like, I think it was just a rumor that he had like done something sexually, like unwanted, like sexual assault towards someone. And then Leffen kind of spoke up on it in Twitch chat and on the stream and mentioned it a lot, so that and kept spreading and signal boosting and spreading those rumors to a point where Mewtwo King had to go on stream and talk about it. And then it was up because he couldn't sexually assault someone because he was circumcised as a little baby, and the circumcision went to shit, and then his dick literally broke. So he can't come. Like, he can't do it. And he didn't want to talk about that ever. He didn't want no one to know it. He like almost started crying when he was talking about it, because he was like, well, I have to talk about it now, and here's the thing that's I like a physical problem I've had my entire life that really I don't like talking about or focusing on, and I don't want anyone to know it. But because I'm being now, like, I'm having allegations against me that I have like sexually assaulted someone, which I physically can't do or have any motivation really to do either, then I have to talk about it. Since Leffen was like signal boosting this, that's why Jason Zimmerman, Mewtwo King, wants to just get him out immediately, because you have some responsibility as a streamer, right? Like you do. You don't. If there's unconfirmed rumors like that, you don't just jump on it. You kind of wanna maybe look into it, maybe, or just don't talk about it. It's just a bad idea.
For being a terrible person. Now all we'd have to do is somehow prove that Leffen profited from this entire situation. But there's no way he'd just tell us, right?
The real hero here isn't me. It's the people that...
Oh, this is so good. I'm not a hero. I'm just a person who did my part. And he did this. This hero message is so fucking good.
Were brave enough to speak up, knowing what harassment they would face. And honestly, I've been struggling with feelings of guilt because I've gained a lot of subscribers, a lot of followers, and attention because of these awful things happening. I know many people have struggled with the same feelings. It's just been extremely rough for all of us.
It's honestly been really hard to deal with the fact that I've been gaining a ton of followers and subscribers during this week. My caveman brain can't help but be happy when I see the numbers go up. And at the same time, I can't stop feeling insanely guilty for it.
Leffen made a video about it, and it's like his most viewed video, and that sucks. I think it's just like, it's just to spread awareness, but then there's also like, there is gain from it. There's inherent gain from it, which sucks.
It's just so hard.
He wrote that command, the hero command. He didn't read it out though. I want to read it. I want to read it again. It's so good. I'm not a hero. I'm just a person who did my part. The real heroes are the ones that spoke up despite knowing the harassment they would face. I do appreciate the compliments, but please make sure you get some perspective on who did the hard part here. Guys, I'm not a hero. I'm so benevolent and virtuous. Guys, I know I did the right thing and that I'm a good person, but please, you guys, you are breathtaking. He's just such a good person and so humble for literally bullying people all his life and spreading false rumors. It's
hard for all of us, really. I think in time I might be able to start my healing journey. Stop calling
It's
me a
peak.
hero, or Melee's savior, or the voice of a generation. The real hero is all of you. At least in Hax's videos, he provided citations. Mikey just says, he defamed Leffen. We just gotta trust his expertise. Let me drop the fun, informative video essay shtick and my online persona for a second. Me and you aren't qualified lawyers, right, Mikey? But at the very least, I was actively involved in the Jisoo defamation lawsuit, and I personally wrote out the arguments and citations myself that were then sent to and used by the attorney to reach a legal settlement where she agreed to delete her entire document and admitted to lying. The document had an insane amount of allegations in it. There was allegations about Sky, there was like 5 about Zero, but that's besides the point. If you care about that, go watch the Sky House video. When it comes to saying what is and isn't defamation in this case, what the f are your credentials exactly? You're just some guy who runs video game tournaments. For all we know, you've done absolutely zero research into any of this.
And he's fat.
In fact, the first time you attempted to actually substantiate your argument, you exposed that you didn't know anything because you had to immediately correct yourself multiple times. You are in no way an authority on this topic, and quite frankly, I think most of this goes right over your head.
And unfortunately, the people with the largest platforms in the community tend either to be silent or outright wrong on these issues. You know, when Technicals is the leading voice on the subject. Yikes, man.
Dude, oh my god, this is the way they speak. Yikes. And there we have it. Yikes. Yikes, dude. Dude, that's yikes.
Funny orange man funny. The revelation that all of this brought me to is that somewhere along the timeline, Hax's ban stopped being about the insane comparisons in the length of his Leffen coverage, and instead turned into a flat-out ban against criticizing Leffen. I think Leffen did bad years before the ban, but he corrected his behavior. He's still a piece of shit. Correct, but not in a misconduct way. I challenge you guys to go watch the January 2024 ban appeal video that they cite as being worthy of a permanent ban, and tell me that those are the exact same unhinged arguments he made in 2021. It's not even close. It was a very reasonable explanation of not only his motives, but goes as far as to explicitly apologize for his past coverage, and again to Leffen himself. How the f could this possibly be in violation of a harassment clause? They unironically made valid criticism of Leffen against the rules, while simultaneously acknowledging that he's a piece of shit.
See, because I know Leffen in real life. I know he's a piece of shit, but I don't know. I still know him as a person.
Because he's such an effective crybully that even when he's lying and downplays his
Crybully, that's the term I was looking for. Yeah, crybully. He bullies people and cries when they fight back.
own abuse,
it's so
he can still
fucking
somehow
disgusting.
make you the bad guy for calling it out. This is the most clear-cut example of narcissistic abuse and Darvo I think I've ever seen. The cherry on top is that after stringing Hax along for years, Mikey blocked and ghosted him, and when people reminded him recently in posts from his tournament series, he had them outright delete the posts. he just deleted them, just duped them. And Julia tried to paint him as a stalker for waiting patiently outside of the event he created to see if he could discuss things in person, after being blocked.
Yeah, they were saying that he was continuously hitting him up and harassing them. I don't know about harassing. I don't know the extent of the messages, but I think if you're continuously hitting somebody up because they're not answering you, and this is like for your ability to be able to play the game with the other people that you want to play with, then yeah, I mean, like, I don't really see why you wouldn't keep hitting him up. After that, it just felt like they were trying to make a point. Like, all right, bro, if you keep hitting us up, we're gonna keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going.
Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. They also publicized legal documents that, according to Julia, they had access to months in advance, which contained Hax's full name and address. It's literally on the first page. This would be impossible to miss if you actually read it at any point. Leffen liked it, Mikey defended it by perpetuating the lie that it wasn't his actual address, Julia spread it, of course, Chroma from Melee Stats posted excerpts out of context, and Jackzilla said it was public for months, which is also a lie because if you actually looked it up, you can't find the deposition files on any public case records. Otherwise, it would have likely had redactions for this exact reason. You can really tell who does and doesn't have experience looking up legal cases. The files originated from an internal dispute with his company's manufacturing, but if you want to know all the financial details, you can watch this segment from my Victims of Leffen video. But if you want a quick summary, it's basically like a financial ruination plot where all these people undercut his product and steal his IP, but go watch it for the details. The whole thing where they openly spread his docs is like a massive cover-up job, even to this day, because none of them have taken accountability, and no one has been punished for it. So I guess that's just...
Well, they posted like a court document with his full name and I'm guessing address? Is that it? The docs, yeah, what the f?
Just another installment in the It's Okay When We Do It.
Why? Important read about the Frame 1 Hax lawsuit. Yeah, they posted legal documents that they somehow, I guess the people involved just leaked it for some reason? Just because they wanted to?
This is the part of the story where things...
It's like here, oh, by the way, here's a part of a lawsuit that looked that we have picked out certain parts of it to make it look like... It's because probably it played to their favor in the whole thing of justifying keeping him banned or something. But then they just didn't realize that, oh, oh, it has his full legal name and address in it. Oh, whoops, that's not great.
I'd like to clarify before I get into the meat of all this, that at the end of the day, it is always the individual's choice if they decide to give up. I'm not denying that. But if you're gonna tell me that bullying, financial ruination, and social isolation aren't major factors, then you have no idea what you're talking about, and you can shove your opinion right up your ass. And that's what I'm gonna be focusing on conveying from here on out. Like I said, this entire video is like a massive info dump, so grab some snacks, strap in. Before Hacks got permanently banned, I was more like a consultant. You see, I spoke to him starting in April of 2021 because I wanted to know more about Jisoo and what happened in this house. That was his ex-girlfriend. I figured he might have some additional knowledge. But after Hacks randomly decided to throw his hat in the ring of Smash video essays, which actually f***ed me over by somehow allowing Leffen to play victim before I could call him out for contributing to the spread of false allegations, which I did do, Hacks decided that he should work with me so we could hopefully avoid another self-inflicted disaster. Unfortunately, I failed. For the longest time, I wondered why. Despite him supposedly trusting my judgment, did Hacks never listen to me, franchise, or anyone else who told him to stop making YouTube videos? It's a little late at this point, but thankfully I finally have an answer. And this actually provided me with a lot of needed closure.
The group chat.
There existed a Facebook group of Hacks' close friends where he would try to get them to appeal to local organizers in New York.
I actually need help with regards to NYC Melee. If they were to free me, it would snowball so quickly.
And discuss potential strategies to get him unbanned. Of course, some of his friends had good intentions, and I'm not at all saying that anyone
Hacks, people tried to help you way back when. It's like too late. Ain't we can do.
involved in these groups is a bad person or was giving bad advice. Some of them genuinely cared and just wanted to help. But there is a few special people that make my f***ing blood boil. One of these guys I'm referring to was actually at the funeral and gave a speech.
My name is Rael, my tag is Itemhog, and I'm here to speak about some of the amazing contributions that Hacks made to New York City Melee.
There he is, Rael, aka Itemhog. At first, I debated stopping him when I saw him approach the podium, but I still hadn't fully confirmed the information I'm about to show you, so at the moment I just let it slide. However, after this, I found out
it's important to know that Proton Police Itemhog is a mod in Hacks server and does free tech support for Hacks basically every day. He is not just some asshole, he has actually helped Hacks financially quite a bit, and by doing free labor, free tech support for Hbox. I do more than help Hacks on a daily basis than everyone here combined. Does that give him a pass to be a shithead? No, but it contextualizes the situation.
Out that he used to be on the mod team for Hacks' Discord server until he started f***ing with him, telling him to keep making videos, and made fun of his amputated leg server until he started.
What? Can Hacks enter your tourney? It's a matter of life or death. Hacks, where's the video? We need a video. Oh, really? What?
F***ing with him, telling him to keep making videos, and made fun of his amputated leg and mental struggles after the attempt in August.
Train 1? Yeah, because Hacks tried to jump in front of a train. Train 1, Hacks 0? How do you like my new Slippy tag, bro? Why? Holy shit. I thought of saying I'm just keeping score, but I don't want to imply he should continue the set. I wonder if he will come back asking me to return. He saw I was making fun of him here, and it hurt his feelings. And the laugh in a wheelchair? Sounds like a normal response, probably, Lamau. Bro, I can't. If bro can't handle it, a bit of trolling, then don't tell him about Scion. I was like, might be, but you have been acting pathetic, begging the people who are ruining the scene to be let back in. So ridicule is deserved. This is the guy that spoke at the funeral, being like, "Oh, Hack was such a good guy. He did so much for the tournament," and it is like making fun of him directly about suicide attempts. That's crazy.
As some additional context, it does seem that Rael and these other guys initially were advising Hacks against uploading the videos, which I can understand. But these guys in particular took Hacks' stubbornness and the fact that he kept relapsing on his ban situation and decided that instead of stepping away and giving him the space to kind of...
What did it say here? I literally warned him to 10x that he should just quit after that drops because no one will take it well. He said, I don't know, I don't care. Then how he cares? He also told me he would kill himself like 50 times. Actual shitter. He hasn't been told that yet, Lufao. I don't know why he didn't demote us if he's that upset. He literally guilt-tripping 24/7. Can't blame himself. He wanted to put the truth video up so bad. Then it drops and he himself. For the entirety of last year, he was DMing me about Leffen and Zip2 and killing himself. And that's why I okayed the video. Because, like, here, man, you should just move on. Post it and dip. But no. He still has to live a lie / try to maintain this fake career. Fake. Like, I don't know. Just don't like him. He's been super annoying. You can't talk about him talk to him about anything, and he'll just ignore it and make it about himself.
But he kept relapsing on his ban situation and decided that instead.
So important context is Hax was harassing Ores every day for a month or two, saying, "I'm going to kill myself, and it's all your fault." Hax blamed Ores before he blamed me. Eventually, Ores got sick of Hax's harassment, so he played along with bottles of baby oil and UX trolling. With that context out of the way, I'll dig up some screenshots now.
Instead of stepping away and giving him the space to kind of work through the problems that he was having, that they were going to start with him and actively troll him as a group. Rael ended up joining the Mana Monthly server and then started dumping a ton of screenshots, almost to like brag about how they were messing with him. He leaked DM a.
I started the whole Rael and Ores is a paid Leffen agent legend. Then Ayok, Ores, and Rael took it further. The mastermind of harmless trolling is here. Invite him to the box Discord. Oh, we're missing Joey. He's the last culprit.
He leaked DMs he had with Hax where he was just straight up making fun of him. Like, after the train incident, he said, "I thought of saying I'm just keeping score, but I don't want to imply he should continue the set. I wonder if he will come back asking me to return. He saw I was making fun of him here, and it hurt his feelings. I got banned from 20XX, so now I can be even more transphobic and make fun of Hax even harder. Were you the one who made that deepfake? It's so good. You should make another one of Hax telling people he's going to join Mana Monthly, and everyone else should too. Hax would hate that." Hax took the expression break a leg a little too literally. What would be funnier is to wait until next time Hax streams ranked and we all chime in his chat telling him to break a leg. Join us, Nate. Tell him to break a leg next time he streams ranked.
Jesus Christ, man. This is heavy. Yeah. They're all like, he tried to kill himself with a train, and he lost a leg because of it. And this is crazy. I never thought it would go this bad. But like, who is this guy? He went to the funeral to talk about him. But like, I don't know who he is in terms of like the melee scene. Like,
just straight up planning to brigade him and harass him over his amputated leg. They also thought it would be insanely funny to pretend like they were spies for Leffen that were trying to actively sabotage Hax. We just kept blatantly sarcastically telling Hax that Rael and Orez were Leffen double agents sent to sabotage him. Okay, now here's where it starts to get good. Orez sending Hax an emote of a duck with Burt cheeks, and Hax immediately starts to get suspicious he is an undercover cop. Oh, I wonder why that might be. Maybe it's because you guys kept insinuating he was an undercover cop? I can't believe this guy, Rael. I just heard about the truth of why that video got released in the first place. Rael admitted that it was all his fault, and I couldn't believe the audacity of the guy. Unreal. Unrael. It's his fault for everything. He's the reason for Melee, you, your ED, the video, the future of Melee, your virginity, Leffen, Box, etc. If you can't tell, they're just with him. Like, a lot of these messages, they're, like he said, sarcastically just with him to see if he'll notice that he's being trolled. Here's Hax telling them that he was going to kill himself, but of course that didn't stop the trolling. Do you know Orez? I just found out he's getting paid by Leffen. When Hax tried to reach out to Rael to clear it up, he kind of went along with it, saying, well, I can't definitely say he isn't an undercover cop. I don't know the guy. Then he leaked the full conversation between Orez and Hax regarding the spy allegations.
Why the fuck? But like, why would they go? Why would they do this? Like, what's the point? Like, are they actually just psychopaths? Is that it? There's nothing. It's just they're just evil. Are they not banned? But they probably are gonna be banned now. Like, there's no way these people are not banned. He was his mod on Discord. Oh, he was one of his mods. Fucking hell, dude.
Every message and sent to TOs. Rest in piss, little bro. What? Why? It was planned. Why? Why? I'm in a fine spot IRL. I have to move away from Melee, obviously, but why? Why did you spy on me? I trusted you with my life. Rael did it too. Not to the extent you did. What? Who are you, dude? What the f? Like, actually, he's a Fed, ban him too. Just tell me who you are. Why did you do this? We were close. I was paid to do it. By who? Leffen. What the f? Are you serious? Yeah. How much? 10,000 USD. Monthly? No, one time. And Rael too? Yeah. How did he approach you? Did he just straight up say 10k to spy on Hax? He friended me on Discord. I hate controllers or something. That was his username. He really did this? Why are you surprised? I guess I'm not. Why would you do this, dude? This is so immoral. You and I were friends. I was paid to do it. Money is yummy. Orez, you're being serious right now, man? You really did this? I don't know what you want from me. I'm just asking if you really did this. Yes, times 10. Orez, be honest with me. Is this real or are you trolling? Because this is no joke, bro. It's real. I have to go and get a real job. I know that. Show me the proof right now. Why? Because I need to know if this is for real. This is really f***ed up. He PayPal'd me on a burner. Why would it matter? Doesn't even say his real name. Bro, you're being serious right now? I'm not snitching for 10k. You have to pay me. Here's Rael pointing out that Hax was having a mental breakdown, so his mom took over his Discord to reply to Orez saying, dude, whatever, if you aren't sorry, then so be it. You're an asshole. And his mom says, shut up, Orez. Hax was hospitalized for 2 weeks. Get over yourself and your stupid hitman stories. That was such a sick prank, guys. That was so funny, so epic how he had a mental breakdown. He actually...
And they were friends? Like, that's the up part because like apparently they were moderators of his Discord. They were friends, and then like they just did this. What the what's wrong with them? Like a guy that, and then when he did try to kill himself, and this is after that happened. He had already tried to do that. Cretin behavior.
I thought Leffen sent me 10K. I didn't even know what to say when he asked for proof. I just said it was on a burner. No proof needed. He'll believe it. Schizoid attack. Mummy, please help. Wow, great friends here. Oh, Chops and Joey and IOUK also told Hex that Leffen paid for my honeymoon and wedding. Rael sure is buying a lot of nice stuff lately. Rael went to Paris for his honeymoon on an Uber driver's salary. Then Rael was paid by Leffen. Haha, so funny, am I right, IOUK? Who was also at the funeral? I talked to you, by the way. Yeah, I found you. You posted a picture of yourself in the server, and now I know it was you. You're the legendary Hax troll who changed his name from Rael's bitch to Amputee while you were talking to him. Really sick, them bragging about making him have mental episodes and questioning who his real friends are and if he's being spied on constantly. Telling him to make another video. Damn, I guess maybe another video can't hurt then. Yo,
and like, and then
really
they go to the funeral as well. Like, what the fuck?
Right? I'm about to hit him up on your behalf. Yeah, please tell him Hax is in an extremely dire situation and needs amnesty on his ban, as Melee is the community he's been a part of for the past 20 years. He skipped college to do this and everything. His entire life was devoted to it. I would truly appreciate the chance to speak with him. What did they do instead of actually reach out to Willie P? They created a fabricated interaction between them and Willie P, again, to see if Hax would notice that he's being trolled and to with him. Joey fabricated this exchange between him and Willie, which gave Hax some false hope. LMAO. I picture Hax refreshing Willie's Twitter constantly for days looking for that announcement, which was never coming.
But like, where's the motivation to do this? Why are they doing this? Like, they're going so far for it. Holy these people are insane. They're actually insane. Like, they should be in a hospital. And then they also go to the funeral. They're actually insane. Bottom of the barrel psycho dogs. Yeah, they're actually just so far out.
It's just a bunch of terrible exactly like this. I can't even begin to explain how evil you have to be to actively over negotiations to get his life back, make fun of his disability and depression, and then show up at his funeral and in front of his own mother act like you gave a single about him. I know this is you because I confirmed it with Manalord and I joined the server and found the rest of what you were saying myself. Did you think I wouldn't find this? I'm amazed you were stupid enough to think I'd let you off the hook. Let's give a shout out to Chops, Joey, and IOUK for all their work in encouraging Hax to make more videos for our entertainment. You can't be serious. You, IOUK, Orez, and everyone else who went out of their way to manipulate and harass Hax, in my opinion, are the most vile people in this entire up situation. And I'm not even one to usually police trolling or cracking jokes. But this was supposedly your friend who was suicidal. Where the is your moral compass? Laughing at faked conversations with organizers to give him false hope, constant jokes about his amputated leg and coordinated harassment over it, lying about being a paid Leffen spy to fuck with him and make him paranoid, and constantly trolling him when he needed real friends? How is this even funny to you? I didn't even show everything that exists because it's just pages and pages of the same disgusting shit. There's so much. I can make a whole video on just you. And I just might do that. If you had a problem with how Hax was treating you and responding to you, you could have just removed yourself from the situation like a normal person, instead of egging him on when he was clearly in a dark place. And then have the balls to start on the TOs and top players like you're somehow better. But hey, at least you got a few good laughs out of it, right?
Jesus Christ.
Before I decided to officially
I never thought,
trigger,
like, I thought there were gonna be some, like, just snide TOs, just keep upholding the ban and not owning up to anything that's happened, but it's like, I had no idea it went this dark.
And get involved, I gave the Melee community a chance to listen to Simple Flips, your run-of-the-mill, unproblematic Nintendo enthusiast with a sizable audience. That was your nice guy. That was your diplomacy you've been constantly begging me for. I watched as he reached out to the organizers in a video without a shred of ill will, and they ignored and mocked him for not being a Melee player, and then deleted his video from the Melee subreddit for being, quote, not high effort, original, and unrelated to competitive play. But we'll get back to Duffy and the Reddit later, trust me.
How is having a top player banned, like one of the best players and most invested players ever, banned from the competitive play, not about competitive play?
If you are actually upset that this is not a Leffen documentary, I do not care. Franchise's video recently got age restricted, and it was already an amazing video, so go watch that. You all were given plenty of options. You were given time. You were given more leeway than most, and yet I still find this community unprepared for the arrival of Nintendo. So I'd like to remind you all before you go running to complain on Twitter that you asked for this. I've already explained why the prolonged ban made no sense, but in the aftermath of Hax' passing, these cowards have been working overtime to cover up their involvement. They even went back to the statement they released for Hax' permanent ban and removed all of their names and events from the list of signatories. Oh, come on, guys. What's the problem? Don't be shy. That's your John Hancock. You should be proud of it. Here, I'll help you out. Let's do a full roll call. Mikey, the Cheat, from Smash Camp. Robin, Juggle Guy, from The Big House. Johnny, Gumball, Pittsburgh. Patrick, Teslick, Upstate New York. David, LD, from Off Brand. Nathan Sandwich, NorCal Melee. Galint Gaming, which is owned and operated by Deer. Quade, Florida TO. Joshua Jed, Eggdog Esports. Austin, Horde, from Full Bloom. Knuckles, EUTO. Aaron, Riptide TO. Max Sylvie, Washington TO. Willie P, now Julia, NYC Melee. Chandler, Ohan, from Tipped Off. Connor, Contra, from Level 1 TV. Scrat, Alabama TO. Sheridan, from Genesis. But there's more context here with Genesis specifically that I'll go over in a second. George, Georgie, San Diego Melee. Team Fede, UK Melee, ran by JSOT. Eric, AZ Melee. Kevin, Tenacity, Chicagoland Melee. Coin, Michigan TO. Tuesday, from Texas Melee. Jerry, from Top Shelf Esports. Melodies, Sweden/Valhalla TO. Tiles, Portugal TO. Kafka, from La French Melee. Flippy, Sweden TO. Ridley, also from La French Melee. Irfan, Germany TO. Dendy Pretendi, Minnesota. Link69, head TO of Arca Melee. Toronto Joe, the owner of Even Matchup Gaming and on the Gommel staff. RJ, from the Collision series. God damn, we got the all-star team back together. Now, if your decision was justified and you stand by your reasoning, what is the point of retroactively going back and scrubbing all of your names? Did you
That's weird.
perhaps forget that the internet is forever? Ever heard of the Streisand?
Yeah. What the
Effect?
fuck?
I'm sure you haven't. All you did was expose that you are ashamed, scared of backlash, and want to erase it from the history books. This was already pathetic, but some of you continue to go above and beyond, and truly deserve a gold star. But before the award ceremony, while some people stood by a permanent ban, I want to first clear up the position from Genesis, because I've talked extensively with their lead of security, Emre, for years, and I've actually spoken to the organizer, Bobak, as well. Bobak maintained a clear line of communication with Hax as a longtime friend, and even though the last Genesis wasn't on the table, there was clear intent to reconsider his ban and give him a pathway to return. The obvious stipulations were disavowing anyone harassing TOs and players, and to stop releasing videos. I did my part by making sure he disavowed me and everyone else, but I don't think anyone really understood the depth of the manipulation behind the scenes when it came to Hax continuing to release more videos. I mean, if we did, then I think this would have ended way differently. Emre was helping provide him with a program through the CSRP that would serve as a tangible way to convince stubborn organizers of his growth, and if he continued on the path he was on, Bobak saw a good chance of unbanning him along with his vouch. As he stated to me, no one's perfect, and if you're not a danger to yourself, the attendees, and are not physically violent or have not sexually assaulted anyone, there is a good chance we will reconsider the ban after some time and progress on the individual's part. Unfortunately, I think the prolonged isolation and Hax's relapse into heavy drinking had more of an effect than people realized. After all, depression is a series of highs and lows, and just when you think someone's on the right path, they suddenly veer off and crash without any warning. So I'd like to thank Emre and Bobak, because from a first-hand perspective, I know that Genesis was trying to help him. And while I appreciate the Genesis team's transparency, some of you could really take some notes from their example. Can anybody please let me know if Deer from Galint Gaming has early onset dementia? Because in response to this list being leaked, he angrily DM'd NYC Furby about how he did not permanently ban Aziz, and to leave him alone so he could grieve his friend. Okay, I just have a couple of questions. Aren't you the owner of Galint Gaming? Yup. And this is your company's signature? Yup. I found this signature in a publicized statement meant to permanently ban Hax. And if that's the case, this must be your position. Makes sense to me. Then you permanently banned Hax. Show me where I signed off on a ban letter. Oh my god. This dude hid a reply to one of his tweets that showed the archive list with him on it. Oh, but it gets better, because Deer was running a tournament named Battle of BC 7 right after doing this, and he had a beautiful moment.
I watched that. That was fun. That was a good tournament.
Followed by a speech for Hax during the broadcast. Except you wouldn't know that, because he did the entire thing off stream while an ad for Domino's was running.
My god, dude.
This moment of silence was brought to you by Domino's new Parmesan Stuffed Crust Pizza. Use code BOBC30 to get 30% off and save some Hax money. Wow, you must have been such great friends. I can't imagine why you'd be getting for this. I've seen Smash players start boycotts for less, but I guess the head TO lying about banning a player who just passed away to save his own ass didn't quite pass the sniff test. Jackzilla, no relation to CoffeeZilla, wasn't on the list, but he is an organizer and works with Austin from Full Bloom, who was on the list. You can see him joking about letting Austin take all the heat in IBDW's Twitch chat. You probably didn't think I was gonna find that though, did you? I brought up Jackzilla for a couple of reasons. The first being how he on all of Mexico because they allowed hacks at their big tournament Smash Factor after running a community poll that showed 90% were in favor of his attendance. He called this whack, said they should have spoken to TOs who did the ban, and called the Mexican community engagement baiters participating in a culture war, and then compared Hacks' situation to transphobia and soliciting a minor. Not at all a ridiculous overreaction. Of course, this all starts to make a ton of sense once you realize that Jackzilla is a Redditor. The other problem I had is that it seemed like not only him, but the entire Melee...
Like, it has nothing to do with this guy. Again, it's like this picture shows this perfectly. The scene wants him there, he wants to be there, but this Redditor maggot doesn't want it. And then there's like, guys, it's basically, what if someone is sexually assaults someone? What if someone is a pedophile? What if it's like transphobia? What about that? I didn't think about that. It's like, bro, you're not there. They wanted it. He wanted it. What's the problem?
The other problem I had is that it seemed like not only him, but the entire Melee stats team refused to cover the event at all through their blogs or social media as a form of protest for the decision. Danny, who writes the updates on where to look to find Melee, said, "I'm not mentioning any events that have hacks." Notably, he also said this right after hacks got permabanned. "I do sort of feel bad for NYC people, because I imagine their IRL weekly experience with hacks is totally fine, and then online hacks is a blatant dumb and betraying the faith they put in him." So I'm guessing there's no bias here.
Well said, my goat.
Look at this writer. You really listed Wes as a large community figure. If the ban was mishandled, I think it was in large part because NYC Melee TOs struggled to reconcile the nature of Hacks' offense with the fact that they were literally Hacks' friends and didn't want to ban him, but kind of had to.
Oh, they were. Those people. NYC, they were his friends. They were his friends. They just wonder what's best for him. Listen, we know this game is your life. You've been contributing to it for 20 years, but you're our friend, man. Listen, you gotta let it go. Just go do something else. Just go do something else. We have to do it. Our hands are tied here, man. Can't do anything about it. Nope. Go get a job flipping burgers, man.
A very tough situation, and literally no one would have handled it correctly. I mean, no one would have handled it correctly. All you had to do was tell Leffen to stop being a pussy, unban Hacks, and you would have had this situation handled by lunch. Which
that's the solution. That is the solution. Leffen, stop being a pussy. I can't. Why am I even saying this? He already said it. But like, it's true. That's the truth, Nuke. Leffen, stop being a pussy and go f yourself. And then also your band, Kiss. And then Hacks, sell more controllers because they're good.
Which do you guys think sounds cooler? Settle it in Smash, or settle it in endless deliberation in a kangaroo court? Nah, we might have to workshop that last one. It doesn't quite...
They could have just settled in a Smash. They should have just done like a best of 5, whoever loses gets banned. But not the perma ban. Even that shouldn't have been a perma ban. It could have been like a 2-month ban. Because then they would have turned it into like a funny banter thing. And not like this fucking whatever this shit is.
Mikey and Jackzilla staffing at the tournament Full Bloom, where they redirected people during the event to go watch Hacks' live stream funeral. I'm certain the tragic irony of this decision was completely lost on Austin, but whatever. Let's also not forget the write-up from Goshine, who was also on the Full Bloom team, where he mentions how unfair it was that people were dropping out of their tournament that was on the same day as Hacks' funeral, and without mentioning him once, said that what the community really needed more than anything was to get together at their tournament and play.
Yeah, they hosted the tournament the same day as the funeral of Hacks, and they were like, guys, we gotta stick together. We gotta, stop. Don't worry about that. Come to our tournament. Come play with us. Don't go to the funeral. That.
It's a Melee.
Buy our
Beautiful
tickets.
Sentiment, but I think you're missing one critical point here. Hacks wouldn't have had that opportunity because you banned him for life.
Was? No, it wasn't our. No, but we have to get together though. Except for the guy who's trying to kill himself. Not you. No, everyone else.
But at least they paid their respects. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
I had a few people reach out to me telling me not to talk about this next person. His girlfriend, Mewtwo King. They even mentioned how his DMs were open if I wanted to talk. Hell, even he eventually messaged me. What a surprise that was for me. I seem to remember a time 9 months ago where I offered to have a conversation.
All this gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep bull. Let's just sit down and have a real conversation about it. It doesn't have to be me at the table. It doesn't have to be me. Get someone you respect, get someone you like, get someone who gets your dick wet, and they'll tell you everything that I'm telling you right now. But they'll do it in a way where your brain can actually comprehend it.
For some unknown reason, I'm not feeling all that charitable anymore. You had your chance, and you blew it. So guess what that...
And I do get the dick wet. That's true.
Now I don't have to hold back information anymore because I don't give a shit, and now we're gonna do it my way.
That's why myself and other top players, Cody especially, handled things privately with him.
If I'm honest, the only thing I'm really contemplating, like obviously
Oh, that guy was that's Cody, right?
Loss of someone, but the only thing I'm really contemplating and worried about is how I want to deal with the eventual technicals video, whatever coming out. I swear half the people forget that someone died, and it's not the time to just shit on people. It's crazy that like 80% of our issues are because of one drama YouTuber. Maybe like 70% are because of one drama YouTuber, and it's not the time to just shit on people.
He's a very good Smash player. Like, he's very good at playing Fox. Until he met Sane, he was just on everyone. He's really good. He's really good. But then Sane is the GOAT. Sane molested him, and it was very funny.
It's genuinely insane to me that like 80 to 70% of our issues.
I forgot the name of the tournament. Was that Full Bloom? I forgot. It was a very good fight. It was good tournament though. Good tournament.
Between 60 and 80. Alright, for one dude. Maverick, his name rhymes with testicles. You can deduct that from what you will. And it's not the time to just shit on people. The worst part, testicles.
I wonder what those question marks are. What is this like little fraction over here? It's not very important, but like I wonder what that is. 80% technicals, 20% child grooming. Or is it something else? I don't know.
You can deduct that from what you will, and it's not the time to just shit on people. The worst part is like that type of like journalism actually has such a like potentially vital, integral, like helpful part to so many scenes, but the way it's done is just so disingenuous. Like you don't have to do it as a piece of shit to make money. You could actually try to be a good person at that, and it's not the time to just shit on people. It unironically rhymes with testicles, which is kind of funny. I actually never thought about that, but it does rhyme with testicles. Yeah, it's just really not the day of shitting on people. I'm sure he will do the best job of research if he physically can, and be as good faith to everyone that he's going to try to go after as possible. I challenge him to actually try to learn literally everything that's going on and then make a completely formed opinion of it that tries to be as good faith to everyone as possible. I would love to see it. If he was able to do that, I would take everything back that I say about him. Literally everything. Even if I don't agree with the outcome.
Oh, don't worry, Cody. I will be thorough.
He's a drama tuber. He's going to be making videos on this. People are like, you gotta be ready for that. It's going to come out. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He made a video the second Hack tried to commit suicide. Yes. Doesn't matter.
What the are you talking about? The attempt was in late August, specifically August 20th. So which video are you referencing here, Cody? Exposing the laziest GameCube controller scam? The follow-up? A Guilty Gear video, a random Smash allegation, infiltration, Noel Brown, another Guilty Gear video, Smash lawsuit, and then ESAM. I never made a video the second Hacks tried to commit...
ESAM into a Sojak. This is so funny. Like, ESAM is never gonna, nothing ESAM is ever going to do is going to be bigger than his legacy as a top-tier Sojak. Like, this picture here of ESAM was... okay, this... Where's the original? Where's the original? Yeah, here. It's this fucking thumbnail. And his entire legacy is just this thing here. I love it. He has such good thumbnails, man. They're perfect. Oh, man.
It's suicide, you dumb piece of shit. The whole reason I started covering his case on my channel was because
that is ESAM. ESAM is literally like, he's a Sojak. Like, he is literally the Sojak.
Situation was making him suicidal, and he needed my help. But since you want to run your mouth so much, let's take a good long look at how you helped him. Cody is the second best Melee player in the world, and if you listen to him, he'd have you believe that he and Hacks were friends for a decade with just a 4-year rocky patch from 2019 to 2022.
Who's been my friend for a decade, even when we fought 5 years ago. We definitely had a rocky patch from like 2019 to 2021-ish, 2022-ish, but before and after we were good friends.
As someone who spoke to Hacks about this specific topic after Cody started calling him clinically insane on Twitter, I actually have a significant amount of context for this. I've been taking shit from this guy for 4 years, LOL. He the entire tri-state scene by dating Jisoo 2 months after I broke up with her, then approaching me at a tournament.
Wait, Hacks was dating Jisoo? Oh, I didn't know that. And then he was
in early 2019, putting his hand on my shoulder and saying he's sorry. Like, okay, bro, you could have had the common sense not to date the girl I just broke up with, but whatever.
I literally could not stand my grandmother anymore because she basically kicked me out of the house 4 times because I wasn't going back to law school immediately when I wasn't mentally ready to. Very luckily, Jisoo actually just let me come stay with her for like a year. She let me share a 1-bedroom studio with her while we tried to get my shit together.
At that point, I recognized that I hated him, but I didn't think too much of it. Then at Pound 2019, he tells me the fake mom story. Then at the end of 2019, he tells me the story wasn't real. And I'm like, LMFAO. What is the fake mom story? And why is it important to this situation?
What is the fake? I wonder.
Because Cody is one of the people responsible for Hacks getting banned in the first place. Their public fight over this story took place 3 days before the indefinite ban statement was released, and Cody was explicitly asked what he thought should be his punishment.
Of course I threw gas on the fire. He came after me. He was saying ridiculous shit. The first ban? Yeah, I was a part of that. I said 1 year, 2021, whatever it was. Yeah, I haven't denied that once.
Even though it ended up lasting way longer than a year, but whatever, that's besides the point. In July of 2020, in the middle of all the allegations surfacing, Cody took this time to publish a confusing twitlonger where he admits to lying, manipulating, and invading the privacy and trust of his friends by lying to them about having sex with his mom when he was 14.
What the dude, Smash community, fucking Smash. This is so, I can never mentally prepare what he's going to say next. I can never mentally prepare what the fuck is about around the corner. It just gets worse and worse. I had, what?
He was in 40s. Yes, you heard me correctly. I know you went back to check, but he lied about having sex with his mom. I say it's confusing because in the same tweet,
Wait, what?
I know you went back to check, but he lied about
I lied about having sex
with his
because
mom. I say it's confusing because in the same twitlonger,
my mother made advances on me and I hooked up with my mother.
He said, my mother made advances on me and I hooked up with my mother. I don't think Cody understands that hooking up with someone colloquially also means having sex.
That means
this
having, yeah,
story
it does.
surfaced in Hacks'
True.
Discord around the time of the Evidence.zip video dropping in response to Cody calling out Hacks. Cody found these conversations, posted them on the timeline, and scolded Hacks
You don't add that you boned your mom to make them believe you. I banged dad's wife.
for laughing about his fake story. Kept this shit to myself because I didn't want to drop a bombshell, but if you're gonna fight fire with me, I'm gonna fight back. Told this bitch about what happened with my mom back in Pound Underground, and lied, wrongfully so, about the extent because of insecurities. What was his response, you might ask? Something
I lied about having sex with my mother and then he made fun of me for it. It's like, dude, yeah. I think anyone would, by the way.
along the lines of me being 14 and I had to have partially wanted it. And then he writes about how to not believe victims. Literally, I hope you go away and never come back. You, sincerely and wholeheartedly. I don't think I've ever felt this much blind rage and hatred towards someone in my life. Holy I was friends with this piece of 4 years, trusted enough to open up about something like this. I hope you get help, and I hope you never cross my path again.
If you're a piece of shit, they always do this. Whenever, like, you don't like someone, yeah, they try to be so virtuous about it. They're like this, like, buddy shrink. I hope you get help. I hope the best for you. I hope your life gets better. I hope you go down a better path. I hope you get help. But they say that because they look so virtuous doing it, and they're like, they think it's not transparent at all.
Again, because I found Cody's public explanation so confusing, and no one even knows what really happened, I took it upon myself to ask for the full context. This is cut and dry manipulation / malicious intent. The entire thing I was criticizing him for was that he willfully and maliciously lied about having sex with his mother. I spent an entire night listening to how his mother's pussy is moist. Then later, he tells me the story.
How can you just say that like that? I spent an entire night. How can you read this out? He must have taken like 10 takes saying this without crackling up, getting paralyzed laughing. I spent an entire night listening to how his mother's pussy is moist. Oh my god. Half of the things in the past 10 minutes, like there's been so many times where he just says something so nonchalantly. And then I realize, it takes me a second to realize what he's saying, and it hits me like a whiplash. Like a truck. Oh my god.
It wasn't real. So what did he do with his mother? Kiss only. He told me IRL that his mom was moist and wrote him, then later told me that none of
his mom, because it's his mom. He told me IRL that his mom was moist and wrote him. Dude, holy shit. Whoever, and look at this. Whoever's close to Hack, seriously check on him. This is simply insane. He's saying this, he's so mad, he's foaming. He's like, whatever's close to Hack. He's so mad because everyone knows how pathetic he is, telling that he wrote his mom's moist pussy just for attention. Out of all things to lie about, this is the craziest I've ever seen. Some people lie about like sexual assault allegations. Some people lie about or are disingenuous about like grooming allegations. This guy was like, how can I add you know, validity to my claims in this tweet longer? I fucked my mom's moist pussy. So loose. She's so loose. But I just kissed her, but she was so moist. Oh.
I wrote him off as a psycho ever since that day. He then said this about me. They kissed. They did not. Okay, so let me get this straight. You kissed your mom when you were 14, which is not your fault at all. I can empathize with the abusive dynamic you were subjected to as a child. But then as a 24-year-old man, at Pound 2019, you deliberately manipulated your friend with a fake and detailed story about how you had sex with your mom for sympathy?
No, I'm definitely great at manipulating people. It's unfortunate, but I am, because I did it when I was younger. I say you faked the story. I think he's referring to the fact that I exaggerated it when I told him initially, which obviously I agree was 100% wrong, and I should not have done that. But I think that that is one of the more excusable things that someone can do to exaggerate trauma that is undoubtedly really shitty to them, no matter what the situation is, when they're really scared about talking about it.
Yeah, that's
You
very
could've just said your
excusable.
mother
Very,
took
very.
advantage of you without all the disgusting imagery, and it would have had the exact same effect. As someone who claims to be an experienced lying manipulator, I find it hard to believe that you didn't at least consider that option. Speaking of being a liar, when you responded to Hacks calling you out for this, you lied again. The claim that I intentionally manipulated him to garner sympathy is just outlandish. Oh, that's outlandish? Okay. Why the use an incestual assault case to gain sympathy? I'd also like to know.
Yeah, why would you? Why would you? It's oh my god, it's like, how stupid do you think I am when you did something incredibly stupid? Like,
why someone would use an incestual assault case to gain sympathy. Because in your original Twitlonger apologizing for intentionally manipulating him, you said, tried coming out a few times to people and even lied to make the details seem way worse than they were because I thought it was the only way I'd get acceptance for it. And I lied about having sex because I thought it would make it seem more in my favor. Are you seriously trying to convince people that you didn't do it for sympathy? Because that would be even more weird. Not really all that surprising, but I found another lie about you checking with Hacks to make sure he was okay with you dating Jisoo. Because in your own DM talking to him about it, you said, wanted to apologize for what I did to you last year. It was pretty shitty of me to just ignore how you might have felt for my own purposes. And based on Hacks' response, you can see that they're talking about Jisoo. It says it right there that you ignored his feelings. Not really that important to point out, but I just want to illustrate first off how easy it is to find him lying. But also, just because you admit that you're a liar doesn't mean you stopped lying. I still can't believe you got Tom Brady'd and then spent a whole night lying about how moist your mom was and what positions you had her in. It almost...
it's just the wording. It's just the wording of like talking about your own mom being moist. It's crazy. It's so outlandish. That's outlandish. That's like the most outlandish thing about all of this. It's like talking about how moist your mom is when you... That's crazy. Holy shit.
You were crossing the line of trauma into fantasy. I've never heard anyone in my life. If you were really sorry, why are you going around policing their reaction and response to you lying to them and invading their trust? That's a weird thing to do. You're a weirdo. And because you couldn't seem to keep my name out of your mouth, now everyone knows that the second best Melee player in the entire world is Chris Chan's disciple.
Hell! Hell, yeah, it's like he's the second best player. He's the second best player. The only three normal Smash players, I bet, it's Hbox, Zane, and Mango, and maybe Amsa, but dude, holy shit, this is getting insane.
No, I like went after someone. I was like, dude, you know that I offered him 20 grand? Do you know that I'm going to probably need someone to back up the fact that I offered him like 20 grand. I'll show you the direct receipt for that. I know we talked about it. If I publicly said 9 months ago that Hacks didn't let me pay for his bills for the rest of the year, don't want to feel like he owes you 40K. He didn't. Here's my rule when it comes to giving people money. If I talk about what I'm doing, I say I offered him $20,000. All of a sudden, he's asking for money the next day. You have to question him. Like, dude, didn't Cody give you 20K? Oh, you didn't take it? Why didn't you take it? You know what I told him? I will take care of it if you shut up for 3 months and just go to therapy, do your stuff. I know you're working on yourself. And he still didn't do it. Even after I said, here's money, here's all the stuff you need. I offered the dude $20,000 to pay his bills while he was broke. I just don't talk about it. Why would I talk about it? I don't do things to talk about it.
You just talk about it.
Karma points. I do things because
he has no words.
Right thing to do. I offered the guy
the words
20
in question.
grand to pay his bills. Talked with like 5 POs to get him on ban. I don't know what else you wanted me to do. I just don't talk about it. I'm sorry. Or over last summer when he was going through the worst part, I offered him $20,000 to pay his bills so he can get therapy while we try to figure out how he gets unbanned. With receipts, by the way. You know, when I was offering him that money to just pay his bills and be quiet so that he can get help and kind of get his life together. Because I was like, dude, if I tell people I basically gave him like 20 grand and he said no because he wanted to come back to Melee and not go to therapy. Didn't you offer money? I did. 20 grand for 4 months so that he could pay his bills. I was going to not do our lawn for the dogs. Also, keep in mind, Liam, I offered him 4 months of bills paid while I was on Nouns to just go to therapy.
I've been working with Hacks for the last 2 years, pretty much non-stop to get him back to tournaments, outside of when my life got in the way, and offering financial assistance before I got dropped. I don't speak about it publicly because I firmly believe if you do things for people...
This is literally that I have no words, and there's like this like gigantic red line. Here are the words in question. I don't speak about it publicly. You're tweeting about it right now.
Well, to speak about them publicly, you're doing it for the wrong reason. Did you know I offered him 20K last year when I had money to get him through the year and what I hoped was the end of his ban? If I told you he rejected 20K because he didn't want to take 4 months off to help himself, you think people would react positively to that?
How would you respond if I told you that in July I said, hi, Hacks, end of year, you're good. I'll pay for you for the rest of the year, even though you
and made another video, and he said no.
Hey, did you guys know that Cody offered him $20,000? He only mentioned it 19 times. You know, I offered to pay Hax's rent too, but you never hear me talk about it because I didn't actually give him the money, and neither did you. But Cody knows it makes him sound awesome, so he mentions this hypothetical money as frequent as
You know what also makes him sound awesome? His mom's moist pussy. It makes him sound really awesome, and also as a credible source for information. I think maybe you should write that up in a tweet log. It would be a great idea.
Humanly possible. And it's so transparent because the only reason he's doing it is because he wants to get ahead of my video and thinks it will somehow make him impervious to criticism.
The only thing I'm really contemplating and worried about is how I want to deal with the eventual technicals video, whatever, coming out.
Well, let's see if that paid off. Being the second best player in the world has its advantages. Cody has a lot of influence when it comes to the culture of Melee and important decisions behind the scenes. So when he started talking to organizers on Hax's behalf in late December of 2023, it was a big deal.
I've been talking to TOs on his behalf for like 6 months. I'm not going to name any of the TOs, but I literally tried to mediate with him and TOs.
While it's true that Cody advocated for Hax's unban in private, the way that he was doing it is what I have a problem with. Please, man, can you open up a conversation about this with top players? I actually don't deserve this fate. It's not a permaban, dude. I keep telling you this. You're operating with different working knowledge. Just take the break. Trust me. The only reason it's stated as a permaban is to heighten the sentence from indefinite, which the only way to go up is perma. It's optics. You're not actually permabanned. You're banned until you take the break. Cody, please help me, bro. I need this to be overturned immediately. Cody leaked this DM during one of his streams responding to detractors, and the implications of this are far bigger than I think he realized. He essentially exposed that, according to his conversations, organizers lied about permanently banning Hax to coerce him to go to therapy, and if he did, they would unban him. And the $20K that Cody was offering was for that explicit purpose. First off, this can't be true, because people like Mikey made it very clear the ban was permanent, and there's no guarantee that wasn't the case from other TOs, except for maybe Genesis. Secondly, none of you are qualified to be making this decision.
We were all so drastically under.
Just forcing, I don't know, it's just fucking weird. If that's the case, just forcing someone into therapy, like, hey, if you take therapy, we will unban you. It's like, it's not really your choice. It's not really your choice if I go to therapy or not, but okay.
Qualified to deal with this type of situation. I made an entire post saying we probably shouldn't be talking about his mental illness and playing armchair psychologist, and I myself was guilty of that. I made a tweet longer about that recently. I don't know what that guy wants. None of us are psychiatrists. Like, nobody knew how to handle this properly. Forget nobody knew. Nobody was qualified to handle this, man. Like, you know how many times I had to just blindly say, trust me, trust me, trust me, you'll be back. You just gotta listen to me for a little bit. And I couldn't offer him a timeline directly, and that's, like, probably devastating for his mental health. Every time he tried to get help or anything of that sort, he just said, I just need to be unbanned, I just need to be unbanned. And that's just like, that wasn't it. That was never it.
And I find it odd how their side claims that unbanning him wouldn't have solved anything, but in the same breath, think that forcing someone to go to therapy is a cure-all solution. Please, Cody, I need help. Just trust me, bro. I'm completely unqualified. But if I know one thing, it's that being unbanned, which to be clear is the only thing you're asking for, definitely won't help your mental health. Holy shit. Cody, you failed it.
It didn't quite work. Sure, we know it didn't work in a result standpoint. My argument is that the other one probably would have been worse. None of us are psychiatrists. Like, nobody knew how to handle this properly. The other one probably would have been worse.
Video games are the reason I didn't go insane during my childhood, and I never would have lived without them. Did Cody just say he wouldn't have lived without video games? What is this guy, mentally ill? Well, guess we gotta ban him and dangle it in front of his face until he goes to therapy for half a year. Rules are rules.
It sucks not knowing if there was, like, a way to get a better outcome. Because, like, dude...
What could they possibly have done? What could they possibly... I mean, it didn't work to ban the guy for 4 years. If only there was a better solution. I can't think of anything. Let me know in the comments.
Dude, I wanted him to have a life. The only thing I wanted for him was the dude to have a life. And
he had one. He had a life before you took it away from him. That's the problem.
It felt like he didn't have a life. In Melee or out of Melee right now.
Why does what you all wanted for him factor into how you handle conduct issues?
I will take care of it if you shut up for 3 months and just go to therapy, do your stuff. I know you're working on yourself, and he still didn't do it. Even after I said, here's money, here's all the stuff you need. I made an entire post saying we probably shouldn't be talking about his mental illness and playing armchair psychologist, and I myself was guilty of that.
I can't think of anything more narcissistic or manipulative than using an unjust ban from a competitive video game to then impose your own will on someone and force them to go to therapy while controlling what they're allowed to say.
And then I talked with the TOs, and I was like, yeah, he should probably be back at this point. Obviously, put him on a short leash in case he does something stupid like a video again.
Put him on a short leash. That's how you talk about a dog, not your good friend. God forbid he upload a video talking about his opinion. Who are we banning him to protect again? Because it's not the attendants, certainly not the spectators. Oh, right. It's for the guy who retired from playing the game. Right.
He doesn't play anymore. By the way, Leffen went on to play Guilty Gear a while back, and I think you watched this video on stream too, but just for context for other people, Leffen is like that. Have you seen that, like, the cartoonist picture from that's used a lot online, where there's like a Grim Reaper knocking on doors, and there's like a trail of blood behind him, and there's like a bunch of fighting game communities basically, and Leffen is the Reaper. He goes from Smash, he goes to Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear, there was like one of the best players in the game who came into Leffen's chat and gave him advice on a certain character, because I mean the guy has been playing the game for years, and he's like pretty much everyone knows he is pretty much the best player, and the best player of that character. I think it was Chip, that was his name in Guilty Gear. I never played the game, but anyways, and Leffen has a tantrum because he gave him advice, and this was just good faith advice, being like at worst a disagreeing opinion, right? And that was too much pressure. It was too much pressure, and Leffen just like banned him from everything, told everyone like, this guy is a piece of shit, he tries to come in here, blah 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 blah. By the way, I'm having death threats. Like, and it became a whole fucking drama. It instantly, like, he's just a stinking piece of shit who just like causes shit in every community he goes to. It's always problem after problem after problem after problem. Wherever he goes, the stink comes too. Like, you can't avoid it. If I go to play Super Smash Ultimate and I play Game Watch, which is my main, and Meister says to me, by the way, this strat is better if you do this, I'll be like, oh shit, this guy, who's the best player of this character in the fucking world, who just won a major in Japan, which is the best region right now, come into my chat and told me a strategy or just some advice to keep in mind when I'm playing this character, which he's the best in the world at. How nice of him. How cool. Not, fuck that guy, he disagreed with me, and that's not allowed. Ban him. And by the way, he's a piece of shit, and I'm receiving death threats. Like, insane. Fuck this guy.
It does feel weird.
By the way, he's Swedish too.
Very weird to know that I might never play Melee again. Like,
good.
Leffen barely even plays Melee anymore.
This is some necessary context. As a little Smash history lesson, this panel was set up with Dr. K, a practicing psychiatrist, to see how the Smash community could move forward with conduct management after the mass wave of allegations.
I don't know, like, what someone in that situation does. Like, how do they learn how to stop?
A lot of therapy with somebody that actually holds you accountable and doesn't just tell you nice things about yourself. I don't know. That's my recommendation.
Look at how smug she is, with that shit-eating grin. Dr. Piggy was the face of the COC panel, which handled Smash conduct before dissolving in 2020 due to an influx of reports and their inability to handle the stress and workload.
So the code of conduct was created through the community leadership. We consulted lawyers, did lots of research on it. We have this super thorough system to process cases, but it turns out that the need is enormous. With the amount of reports we get, we cannot process in a fair manner. When Dr. K asked, like, what do we do next? That's really hard for me to answer because I've been the backbone of a lot of the code of conduct initiatives, and I'm getting burnt out, guys. I've spent too many nights crying in the shower, getting messages from abusers. It takes a village, and we need a village.
Of course the COC didn't work. You got Miss HR department over here crying in a shower for having to do the job she signed up to do.
Oh, that's the stuff. That is the spot.
This might have been from 2020, but you can see based off of Cody's statements during this time, and his interactions with hacks, that he took a very similar approach to Dr. Piggy. But now Cody wants to point the finger at therapists and the hospital that discharged him, and directly blames them for his death.
You know what he told me? That his therapist approved him seeing him once every other week. How insane is that? Whoever that person is, that person needs to have their fucking medical license revoked, unless Hacks was blatantly lying to me, which I don't think he was. That's beyond insane. That's like, you killed someone. You fucking killed therapy's expensive, bro. Dude, there's no he didn't have Medicaid.
Just out of morbid curiosity, let's revisit the psychiatrist that Smash players previously confided in.
I think that Healthy Gamer and Dr. K have done a lot of really great work in destigmatizing mental health.
And see what he has to say on the topic.
Most of the suicidal men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of the situation. They have nowhere to turn to. And the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. But basically what happens is what causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected. So it's specifically a very specific research term called thwarted belongingness. So I try to belong to a group, and that group, or multiple groups usually, will thwart my attempts to join the tribe, to join the community.
Wait. So you're telling me that ostracizing someone who wants to be a part of your community so they can feel like they belong somewhere and have a place in society can lead to them wanting to kill themselves? What a novel idea! If only he made that blatantly obvious several times, this all could have been avoided. But sadly, I've been informed by a bunch of unqualified gamers that there was nothing we could do. It would have been avoided.
But
sadly, I've been informed.
Not sane, man. Personally, I believe that the movement like free hacks is damaging and plays into Hacks' idea that his ability to play melee is a matter of life and death. In my opinion, banning him serves as a band-aid for a much larger problem. Conversely, those who callously antagonizing him at this lowest moment can eat shit, seeing that polarity and as a daily basis has to be painful. He had your Nintendo seal of equality. Yeah, he did. I mean, Zane is funny. I like Zane. But that's sad to see. Stop. I don't want to think about anything moist anymore. I don't think about a single moist thing ever. That word is ruined. I don't want to.
By a bunch of unqualified gamers that there was nothing we could do.
Oh, wouldn't it be funny if he was in Moist too? Coinus should join Moist.
And just letting him play a video game would have actually made things worse.
No, but the thing is that
Someone get critical, Moist critical on the line. They gotta pick up Cody.
I understand what they're talking about, because like realistically, if we all agree to not go to events
Moist
for a while,
Schwab.
I do think that they'd have to let him back. Also, you're
His mom has a Moist Schwab. He said it himself.
like a boycott would have actually changed anything. You know what it might have done? It might have killed off a fucking tournament and made it so that he couldn't run for another series. If we all agreed to not go to events for a while, I do think that they'd have to let him back. It seems like people just wanted us to publicly defend him, but that wouldn't have done anything. Like, I don't think they understand that would have done nothing.
Striking would have got him unbanned. Striking wouldn't have got him unbanned. Publicly defending him would have done absolutely nothing. How do you reconcile all these statements at the same time? Isn't it convenient how any action that required you to actually stand up for your friend wouldn't have worked? Wow, that's so crazy.
We don't handle things publicly for the exact reason of what's happening now. Can you not see what happens when things go public? Like, can you not look in front of you for 2 seconds and see what happens? I think we all could have said something. The question is, what would have actually accomplished? Was it going to be worth the backlash and the pressure it put on everyone? And would it actually have gotten him unbanned?
Ah, there it is. You weren't doing it privately for Hacks' sake. You were doing it to avoid getting backlash. Because the second you needed some help and someone in your corner, what did you do? You're begging Mewtwo King to make a public tweet defending you.
They only don't shit on Mewtwo King because he tweeted about stuff. Tweeting didn't do anything. I actually worked on this shit. Fuck you. Jason, I'm actually going to need your help at some point. The amount of people who are coming after me saying that I didn't help Hacks, I'm going to probably need someone to back up, one, the fact that I offered him like 20 grand. I'll show you the
I wouldn't do anything though. I wouldn't do anything, sorry.
And two, the fact that I've been trying to get him unbanned for like 2 years.
Wouldn't do anything.
I'm going to probably need like a direct clip or something at some point because it's gotten like so bad that I can't even make a tweet without people just shitting on me about Hacks at this point.
Wow. It must suck not being able to make a tweet without people shitting on you. That's a unique problem to you, and I'm certain there's no parallel here whatsoever.
No, I'm definitely great at manipulating people.
Clearly, Hacks didn't agree with you, so stop pretending like you and all the top players not having a backbone was somehow a service to him. Did you also avoid saying his name during your Battle of BC interview after he passed away for his mental health?
Conch doing all right?
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't get to warm up on it as much as I wanted to. I obviously sliced my finger open, and I finally got it last week, and there were like extenuating circumstances, obviously, this week. So I barely played at all.
Extenuating circumstances? Your good friend just passed away, and you describe it as extenuating circumstances that are inconveniencing your play. Somebody get this guy Friend of the Year award. To be honest, I'm even more shocked that you didn't mention the 20K. I really gotta ask, Cody, did you just forget how you spent weeks grandstanding during 2020 about how important it was to use your platform to speak up for injustices and how effective it was for a leading figure to set a good example? Or does that only apply when you're defending your ex-girlfriend?
Leffen was on my side a lot. Ludwig backed me up. Mango, all these people, they spoke out on it. Do you know how much power that has? And that doesn't require Nintendo. That doesn't require going through the trouble of like trying to structureize some kind of legal system within Smash. Like that alone has so much power. And because those people spoke up, everyone else who's following them sees those things and now they're aware of it.
Tweeting didn't do anything.
Importance of speaking out was one of the main topics in this live stream that you engaged in and supported in chat for the full 4 hours.
I've heard there's a lot of difficulty getting TOs to like work with each other. I'm hoping that this will get some of them to play nice.
I can tell you right now that like the TOs are talking.
Good. That's good.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good to know.
Great.
I don't think
They're
Smash
talking.
can govern itself.
It's great that we finally have undeniable proof after 5 years that you all accomplished nothing, didn't learn anything, and the only thing you seem to be good at is circle jerking over how hard it is to actually do the thing you keep telling people that you care a lot about. So just a quick recap, Cody. You lied to Hacks about fucking your mom for sympathy after you got with his ex, said he should be banned for a year when you got pissed he was joking about it. Then after 2 years, you try to help him get unbanned by telling him it's all an optics game and he has to take your money and go to therapy or else they won't unban him. And while you were doing all this invaluable work, it absolutely, without a single doubt, had to be done privately. Because in your professional opinion, as a guy who plays video games for a living, any public show of support for him would have poorly affected his mental health. Did I get all that right? Feel free to chime in whenever you think I missed something important here. You realize if you were a good friend and not a manipulative piece of shit, going public with your support of Hacks doesn't always mean I'm going to say negative shit and hold this 20K I offered you over your head and hurt your public image for refusing.
Stop calling
my
him a hero,
ultimatum.
chat.
You could've
He's
just
not a
said
real hero.
something nice
You
about
guys
him,
are the
like,
real hero.
I don't know, how you didn't think he was a threat and it'd be nice to have him back at events? maybe that's asking too much.
A bunch of us tried to help. We just don't know what we were supposed to do. Go on Twitter and then make other people depressed? That's what you want us to do? Seriously? If we all agreed to not go to events for a while, I do think that they'd have to let him back.
Oh, geez, was that good enough, Cody? Was that thorough enough for you? I hope I didn't disappoint. Now that pretty much brings everyone up to speed on Hacks' ban. From here on out, I'm going to be discussing the cultural and ideological issues that have contributed to the Smash community's continual downfall. That's right, we're getting political. Woo! The Technicals Politics channel. This is all.
Is it going to involve Israel and Palestine?
Subgroups and topics like the funeral, Reddit, melee hell, politics, you get it. However, I don't think I can appropriately convey the message that these people need to hear in this format, so excuse me while I switch shit up mid-video. Look, I'm gonna do that thing. I'm gonna do that thing I do. Watch this, watch this. I use sponge here to focus the frame. Today we're actually focusing on the Melee Reddit. There isn't a mod on that subreddit that I think deserves a spotlight more than Duffy. Remember how Simpleflips' video got deleted for being low effort and unrelated to competitive play? They used that power with an iron fist.
You don't know what you're talking about, and I kindly ask you to edit or remove this comment. Saying that Hacks never saw compassion or support erases and downplays all of the support he got throughout his life from the NYC Melee scene. It is disrespectful to them and disrespectful to Hacks.
From the NYC media. Yeah, let's mention those people specifically. That's a very good good look.
To erase that. Pay your respects, but don't talk like you knew him.
Duffy did not know Hacks at all, by the way. I don't think Hacks also would have gave a fuck about disrespecting NYC Melee, but... Okay. Here's Duffy also flexing his unqualified opinion on mental health by comparing playing Melee to being addicted to fentanyl. How the fuck do you compare playing a video game to taking drugs? It is not the same. It is not the same as being an alcoholic or a fent addict. The moderation is very strict, okay? They delete comments all the time if it goes against like a narrative or incites drama or fucking whatever. But he also just flat out refuses to mod comments from people agreeing with him when they cross a line, or just straight up imply that other people should kill themselves. Mods, can we please do something about the influx of idiots and concern trolls who show up with the same format username? First word _ second word numbers. I'm sure you're up to your ears in bullshit right now, but it's so hard not to tell these people to kill themselves.
New accounts are filtered by a minimum Reddit karma. If there's something that's not filtered, please report stuff.
I've seen you mod shit for way less. How does this one pass the bar? He's like fighting back, trying to tell people to kill themselves.
Fuck Technicals, and every single gremlin who listens to what that dumb fuck says.
Look at Duffy watering at the mouth here for more drama.
Is there a new thing we should know about?
Turns out the OP was complaining because I called out Salt for putting their bulge on full display at—
I saw that, by the way. That was fucking crazy. Dude, this is... you can't even show it here. But Salt is like like one of the also top player in the middle here. Here's two children, like two kids, and he's standing, well, she is standing there with like a bulge where you can literally see the shape of their cock at the tournament in pants like that. It's insane. And people in the comments were like, hey, this is probably not a great idea to have in tournaments with kids. And then they all got deleted for it.
At an all-ages Smash event. And then in a reply to that, few overstand implies that I should be triggered to kill myself. Right there, right under Duffy's post. But since he thinks I'm a freak, he's gonna let that one slide. Here's Duffy trying to police someone who actually knew Hacks by telling them to grieve somewhere else because he didn't like the negativity. This guy's post also coincidentally got locked. Sometimes people need to get things out for their own closure. That's how I read this.
That's something for a personal journal or diary then, in my opinion. Not something for randos to comment on. Parentheses, I am also a rando here.
He like automatically thinks he has the moral high ground by default. So he doesn't even realize how much of a massive piece of shit he's being here. And if they let guys like this be a moderator, I think you can understand what kind of a cesspool that entire community has cultivated. The final boss of Redditors is King Hippo 42, who writes these pool that entire community has.
Holy.
The final boss of Redditors is King Hippo.
You can't say he doesn't look the part. Holy shit.
42.
It's Peter Griffin, yeah.
Long ass blog posts about Hacks, blaming everything on his struggle with mental illness and using his situation to complain about a culture war. He's like their messiah. Every time he posts, oh my god, this is so well written. And the nuance is just, there's just so much nuance. They love these stupid ass write-ups because it helps dissolve them of any accountability and convinces them that they were completely justified in how they treated Hacks like a social pariah. Stuff like this is also why Redditors can't exist on a platform like Twitter, because when they start losing these arguments, they realize they can't downvote you out of existence or call up a mod to abuse their power and silence you. Just face it, you lost in the marketplace of ideas. So pack it up and take your ass to Blue Sky. If you know about Melee Hell, then you know that it used to be one of the great stomping grounds for Melee's most legendary shitposters. But now, it's an over-moderated hellscape that only exists for thirst traps, clips, coal...
Also, the Salt person we looked at earlier, I'm pretty sure there's like... Salt, Melee, Meltdown. But basically, Salt was streaming, and then someone just like played against him, and like she started crying, like and telling the person to kill themselves like 5 times. But it's probably gonna be in the video here.
And an emotional dumping ground for the
It's gotta be in the video here.
Michael Dominic, who is way past his prime. Despite having me blocked, he spent the past few weeks making fun of Hax's death, blaming me, and harassing his mom. But he posted a sick clip of Roy Mustang crying when he passed away, so that kind of makes up for everything. How sad is it that not even your own Facebook group supports you anymore? The admins on the Facebook page outright banned discussion of Hax's ban. When someone called for reform, the comments got turned off. Hashtag justice for Aziz, comments turned off. Melee Hell used to have cultural relevance in the community and stood up against the censorship on Facebook. But now they're doing it to themselves for free. And no one gives a fuck about Facebook or this washed up Twitter account. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I know you clicked on this timestamp, so welcome. There's a few YouTube creators who have chosen to speak on this topic.
Oh, let's talk about what I really love to talk about, which is technical.
Yes.
I made a non-clickbait thumbnail and a non-clickbait title about technicals. And what did it say?
And after looking at what they had to say, I'm 100% certain
Non-clickbait. Non-clickbait whatsoever. Nope, nothing.
They have no idea what they're talking about. Commentary recently has devolved into, let me give my surface level opinion about everything, and whoever gives me attention first is getting turned into a 5-hour live stream. Well, today's your lucky day, kids, because I'm gonna provide your paycheck for the week. And our good friend Tommy C has graciously volunteered his free emotional labor.
Who did technicals get off? Sky, right?
Who did?
Did he do a Nero video? Did we establish that? The Naro video?
He did a Nairo video. He was talking about something about the Nairo ban.
With the defense? Or the ban itself?
Double check it.
All right, okay, we don't know.
Who did he get off? Sky? Did he do the Nero? Mayo? The hero? Nabeyo? Was it a defense? Oh, geez, Tommy. I don't know. It's only one of my biggest videos ever that pops up as the top Google
Was it a defense? The video is called Ban Nairo.
search, and I literally sell.
It's literally the title. Title is called, here's a picture of the guy, ban him. Here's the merch, ban him. What was it about?
The slogan,
I don't know.
Nairo. You tell me, dumbass.
All right, okay, we don't know.
Yeah, it was a ban appeal video. Sorry.
It was a ban appeal video. Another guy that was what? Talking underage kids, right?
I think underage boy.
Whatever.
Shit in a hotel room.
Okay, so that guy didn't get off. He's still banned, correct? The responsible thing to do was to keep Hax out of those tournaments because he was clearly emotionally unhinged by no fault of his own. If they let this guy in and he'd have done something, that would have been all their asses, deservedly so. And considering the fact that he eventually stepped in front of a train, unfortunately, that proved their point.
Do you guys think that Tommy even knows that Hax was going to events for like a full year? Probably not, right?
Do you remember the guy that Technicals was pushing to write a completely unhinged, unfactual, and mentally ill piece about this other Spanish player called Leffen? You told him, Hax, what you're doing here is great, and not, Hax, buddy, please don't release that. That's right, Technicals. That's what the problem was. You weren't a friend. Use Zero and use this guy too. Absolutely. And I can see, I don't know who cares what your motivations were?
You base this off of nothing. You're just saying shit. But here's proof of Hax telling me he did it himself, me being surprised at the upload, and here's clips of me criticizing his arguments like a day after the video dropped. I agree that he said really shit, and we're gonna go over that, but I like the overall arguments that he made. I really disagree with how he executed it.
The biggest red flag of all, however, is something that no one would have ever guessed.
This was stupid. He could have cut this entire part. This is where he starts going through avatars, and then the whole Death Note meme. Justin Wang was memeing on him for saying this shit too.
You said that was legit.
This was stupid. He could have cut this entire part.
You passed it off like it wasn't mentally ill, like it was good.
This was stupid.
I remember seeing your tweets when I followed you. Boy, Hax got Leffen now. Hey, Technicals, did he get him now? How's he doing now?
He does make some good points in this video that I agree with. He also makes some shitty points that I disagree with. I think Leffen deserves a lot of criticism. Do I think he deserves every criticism from this video in particular? Not really. I just don't like people immediately disregarding everything he said in this video because of some sound bites.
How's he doing now? I don't know who cares what your motivations were?
Knowing you probably skipped to this part of the video instead of doing your due diligence. So here's also the screenshots of me telling him not to make videos from the earlier segment that you didn't watch, and proof of me telling him to distance himself for good measure. You're welcome.
Piece of shit Technicals was pushing our community to get on board with these videos that he was making.
Who is this guy? What do you mean? Is this guy part of like media or something? It's like, oh, it's a fucking unk.
Hey Tommy, why
It's
the
like
fuck
fucking
would I ever?
He's like 50 years old. He looks like someone's dad. He looks like someone's supposed to pick up their fucking 13-year-old kid who's looking at Salt's bulge at the fucking event to be like, oh, don't look at that. Let's go home. Let's go do something else. Not my son. Now you're gonna go fucking play football like normal kids.
Breaking news! I don't know if you've
Jesus
noticed,
Christ.
but you run a dead channel. I should write this segment off on my taxes because this entire response is considered charity.
I think Technicals was one of the most talented guys I've ever spoken to. He was iDubbbz level. He was that talented. I'm sorry, Technicals is smart. He's creative. He's funny. He's not an idiot.
I think Technicals is smart. He's sexy. He's got a peanut butter complexion and a BBC Junior to boot. Wow, thanks, Tommy. That means a lot coming from a drunk, washed-up live streamer.
There's two types of friends in this world. Those that bail you out, and the ones that are sitting right next to you when you get bailed out.
Too bad I can't say the same for you. And the only reason I'm giving you the most attention you'll get until you let Keem glaze you like a donut is because your responses are so factually inaccurate and fueled by blind alcoholic rage that you make the perfect punching bag to get my point across. And I didn't even have to do extra research to do it. Maybe next time pick someone in your own weight class, like Tipster or Wings of Redemption, before you decide to embarrass yourself again. While we're on the topic of fights, this guy named Rusty, who is the second person to voluntarily embarrass himself by delivering a speech at Hax's funeral, had this to say about me afterwards. Took everything for me to leave the room and not swing on him. Fuck that fucking asshole ruining the mood and vibe of a funeral with jokes and vengeance talk. What, you don't like jokes? So after I finished my speech and sat down, Mewtwo King played a little practical joke on me by pulling my beanie over my eyes and then tossing it over by Hungrybox. It was actually this same beanie, so imagine that. It was honestly kind of fucked up and actually really scared me in the moment, so I think Jason should be banned from Melee for the rest of his life. But I'm just joking. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. It was cool. I'm cool with Jason. No harm, no foul. But out of the corner of my eye, I noticed that Rusty, who was sitting next to Hungrybox, quickly tried to hide my beanie. A little fucking weird, but I had no idea I was dealing with a real thug at the time, so I didn't think much of it. Signal to Hbox, he didn't know where it
Choker,
was.
man.
So I walked up to Rusty, and I asked him. Without saying a single word, he does this shit. The fuck? Okay. Then I think it was maybe Papa Dave eventually pointed out that it was underneath a chair, and I just grabbed it and went along with my day. I want to make it very clear, this guy did not speak to me once the entire 4 hours I was at the funeral home. I spoke to Hungrybox, Max Ketchum, Gimmer, a fuck ton of people there. I actually spoke to Gimmer for a while, because I was thanking him for letting Hax attend Xanadu, and then we just went over a bunch of other shit from past coverage, but that's not important. The point is that while we might have disagreed with each other, we talked like adults. This grown-ass man had beef with me that I didn't even know about, and the only thing he could think to do is hide my hat passive-aggressively and then vent about it online afterwards. My Emperor's Hockey bitched you so hard that all you could do was sit there clenching your fist, imagining what you'd do if you had an above-average testosterone level. As someone who was there and spoke, fuck technicals. Hax is so much more than the drama. And you illustrate that by also making his funeral VOD about drama. Couldn't just leave it on Twitter, huh? Look at you being the bigger man. Since you're clearly very emotional about this, Hax must have meant a lot.
Is that Destiny? What the fuck is Destiny doing? What a jump scare. What is he doing here? It's got the blue on.
To you, right? You know
Where's
what?
the coat?
I'm gonna ignore Twitter and go for a nice bike ride in the sunshine because that's what Aziz would have wanted people to do. Reflect on the good times, the good things about him. Hax's legacy to me is that of a teacher, a resource, a kind hand to others, someone who welcomed new people in the scene. He would want to be remembered for his contributions, not his drawbacks. Wow, this is fucking beautiful. The only thing that could ruin it now is if I key searched his name on your account and somehow found you constantly talking shit about him when he was alive. You ever just go to a tournament to flex on Hax money? This is at least 3 times more interesting than anything Hax has done in the last
2023. That's, yeah. Okay.
year. If an O2er did what Hax did, no one would have given them 5 chances. Hax hasn't ever apologized or explained why he lied to the Smash community about playing Falcon to get Summit 2017. Hax hasn't ever explained why he mass banned box users requesting tech support or order cancellations. Hax was trying to turn the Melee scene into his personal army. This one is actually after he passed away, surprisingly, and so is this one. It's very interesting, the lineup of defenders of Hax fighting the good fight. Scam artist Mewtwo King, dubiously banned Westfall.
Scam artist? What did he do? What did Mewtwo King do? What the fuck? What did he do? He's like the nicest guy. He's like the most harmless, nice guy ever. What the fuck did he do? What? Sex pest anti? Oh my god.
Sex pest anti. Scam artist NYC Furby.
Oh, anti, he's, yeah, okay, I remember who that was. It's sex pest?
Who else is going to join the big game? Whatever happened to riding your bicycle in the sunshine? Did you get tired of that? Hey, Hax, when's the next Hax's nightclub? Oh, wait. Skull emoji, laughing.
What? Damn.
My ass off. And here's Rusty also defending Hax getting doxxed last July. You are a two-faced pussy who couldn't even look me in the eyes when I talked to you. And even if you did muster up the courage to do something, you severely underestimate how many people supported me there. We had like the free Hax Secret Service all in attendance. And I wouldn't have had to lift a finger besides to pose for my photo op behind the podium. I hit one of these real quick, surrounded by a sea of Reddititas. And I'd be the president of Melee faster than you could say my B. Oh, this guy's also a fucking weirdo. There was this guy named N Shadow who knew Hax, but decided not to go to his funeral because I was there and other people, and then accused me of spreading genuine during my speech. First off, you're a terrible fucking friend, and given this decision, I question the legitimacy of that claim altogether. Secondly, the National Socialist German Workers' Party is not interchangeable with thing I don't like. If you
I don't get it, man. This is like the thing that Hacks did wrong. It's like comparing someone to Hitler. And it's like, no, do you see this guy, this black dude going to a funeral of a guy who died, who was like his friend? No, he's going there because he's a Nazi, and because he wants to spread propaganda and at the funeral, because that's a great idea. That's a good idea. I should go to the funeral where someone died and spread. Yeah, that's where I should do it.
If you were someone who does this, I'd bet money that you, one, have a Reddit account, but also that you know very little about politics. However, that's irrelevant because nothing I said was inherently indicative of a specific political party anyways. Unless you think integrity, consistency, and transparency for conduct management in a video game community is synonymous with. But then we'd have a way bigger problem to deal with. I know you're itching for it, but we'll get to the politics in a second. I want to first quickly address the fake mom conspiracy. I knew that she was real the whole time because
Wait, what's conspiracy?
First, quickly address the fake mom conspiracy. I knew that she was real the whole time because I was pulling the strings, baby. No, because when she asked me if I could go to the funeral, I told her I couldn't make it on such short notice. I didn't have the money to take like an impromptu.
Oh yeah, like Hax's mom has been using his Twitter account lately and like posting tweets for him. It's not the moist. It's not the moist mom. This is Hax's mom. It's not Cody's mom. It's a big difference. I don't know why he would call it a fake mom thing. Don't call her dry mom, please. It's just Hax's mom.
Impromptu trip to New Jersey. So she actually helped get me out to the funeral. She helped pay for that. So thank you again for that. I really appreciate it. It was honestly fantastic. It was a great experience, and I'm glad I was able to make it. Thank you to all you guys for being so cool when I met you in person, except for Rusty. You are a massive pussy. When I got there and talked to her in person, I was shocked at how much deep lore she knew about the community. Like, Mama Hax was locked in. She's as much of a Melee player as Hax was. Like, no doubt in my mind that she can wave shine. We're going to be seeing Mama Hax in top 8 very soon, but the timeline did not seem to agree. And I understand where some of it was coming from. I see a world where some technicals freak reached out to his actual mom to post the GoFundMe and is now using his account to continue the grift. No mother in their 60s talks like this and uses Twitter this much. If it is his actual mom, that is more disgusting. Let your son rest. What is this Doctor Strange-ass prediction? How many worlds do you see? How many possibilities are there? Is this the one reality where we get Hax's mom to shitpost on the timeline? Oh, dope. Here's our boy Rusty again. To those wondering if Hax's mom is actually running the Twitter account and whether or not he got hacked, I'm going to the funeral and asking her. Edit, I'm going to the funeral anyway, but now I'm asking given what's been posted recently. I knew Aziz, and I'm honoring the dead. I am saying this with total respect to Jeanette. I don't think it's her behind those tweets. Did you get confirmation on this one way or the other? Based on what happened? I'm wrong and sad. It's okay, Rusty. Just go ride your bike. You'll be fine. This guy, in response to someone asking if Hax was actually dead and if there was an obituary on the day of Hax's livestream funeral, he said, I don't know. The whole was actually... It's okay, Rusty. Just go ride your bike.
Isn't this the guy,
this guy
comments cop? Isn't this the guy who like RP'd with himself in his own comments on Twitter? Like he would reply to himself. Am I thinking of someone else? Like, I know Elon Musk also did that, but I'm pretty sure this guy did that.
Response to someone asking if Hax was actually dead and if there was an obituary on the day of Hax's livestream funeral, he said, I don't know. The whole thing is sus. This is like when Lyrics DM'd Too Mad to check if he was dead. I don't know, man. This seems kind of sus. Literally the day of his funeral. The day of his funeral. It's fucking idiot, bro.
Hello, everyone. My tag is Mech, reporting on everything that I like to suggest for the Melee community and hopefully to be featured on Technical's video.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for this segment to get clipped out of context. Watch how this goes over people's head, like almost instantaneously. This is more a general problem with the internet, but it's extremely relevant to this discussion and it pisses me off, so I'm going to talk about it real quick. When something happens that you don't like, you can either categorize it as a right-wing problem or a left-wing problem. You could pour a bowl of cereal, find out there's no milk left in the fridge, and then blame it on Bidenomics or Trump's tariffs. And some genius will unironically find a way to agree with you, even though you just forgot to pick it up on your last grocery run. That is the level of discourse I'm forced to engage with daily. In this case, because the Smash community is predominantly left-wing, and it's one of the main things that I talk about, and for the most part, I'm against them, they rationalize their hatred of me by accusing me and others of being right-wing, far-right, a national socialist.
Technicals and Manalord being allowed at Hax's funeral and using their eulogies to own the libs is a new low I didn't even know we could reach.
That funeral was just so disrespectful to his legacy. He would have hated the way it ran and who spoke. Right-wing grifters took it over.
Hax dies and then we want to like put all the blame on trans people. That's what they do.
Conservative, fascist, Christo-fascist. The loudest people about this topic are also all right-wing grifters for some fucking reason. Spend 2 minutes on the trending tab, and you're hit with Technicals and his supporters, a verified account called Fox News SSB, known bigots, and people reposting 4chan screenshots about the situation. I am genuinely depressed about the Melee community at the moment. The hack stuff has literally caused a Trump-style reality schism in the community. People aren't interested in the truth. Nationalist, ultra-nationalist, authoritarian. Why are we having like a far-right movement within Melee? Technicals. As someone somewhat involved with Melee in New England, I personally knew multiple of the sign-offs on that ban that wouldn't have done so without evidence. Evidence I didn't care to see. Fucking hate what Technicals did to the community. Guy is the libs of TikTok of the Smash community. Here we have a couple of left-wing users on Blue Sky actually noticing this pattern and being fed up with getting painted as right-wing for no reason. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely an audience for a right-wing grift, if that's the route I wanted to go. Woke Smasher gets 3-0'd by facts and logic. That would go hard. That would go insanely hard. But the major problem is that I don't give a fuck about politics. If you haven't noticed, there is literally
I love the
a
picture I
right-wing
left
sector of the Smash community that I don't promote at all, despite being asked to on several occasions. You know what I told them? That introducing your unnecessary polarizing politics into a video game community is inevitably going to alienate participants and cause a problem for sponsors. If you somehow make Mario punching Donkey Kong about hating trans people or sex reassignment surgeries, I think you're both obnoxious as fuck. Yeah, I check in with the Melee community for their nuanced take on Israel-Palestine.
And there it is! And there it is! Okay, believers, you're getting paid. You're getting paid. I fucking knew it. I knew it. Yes. Bam.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, I was just checking to see if anyone's asked Mango about his stance on abortion recently. No? He's still just playing Falco. Oh. Okay, because my job is on the internet, I'm forced to see shit I don't care about every
I knew
single
it.
day. And
I
on
knew
top
it.
of that, we have Pikachu playing politicians whose only credentials is saying the N-word, giving me a lecture on infectious diseases, and Kyle Rittenhouse. So even if I did want to sit here and espouse my political beliefs, no one would or should give a flying fuck what a random YouTuber or Smash player thinks about global or economic policy.
Oh, clip it, checkmate. He said his opinions don't matter. Another dub for the Democrats.
I also don't know why you guys act surprised that there's an entire right-wing Smash community when you explicitly ban people for being openly right-wing.
So I was actually banned officially. I'm not bullshitting here. From my perspective, I was banned from this community from attending events because of a 5-word tweet that I put out. The 5 words were trans women are not.
Mamma mia.
That's what I said.
The main reason
That I put out. The 5 words were trans women are not.
Mamma mia.
Not even gonna test the waters with this one, but you get the idea. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
The main reason as to why I am supposedly banned is because of politics. The Smash community is filled with many people that claim.
I mean, he didn't have to tweet that. What is he? He didn't have to tweet that. You could just let it stay in the drafts. It doesn't have to go public. But if you think that, if that's like, you have a belief about something, this is your reality. You believe this. It's real to you. It's what the world is to you, right? What are you gonna do about it? You know, it's just, are you just gonna agree with the other side because they're the majority and just like go that route? Like, what are you gonna do? It's literally real to you, you know? They ban you, but again, he didn't have to say it. He didn't have to say it, but it's kind of weird to ban people for stuff like that because it's just an opinion. It's a tournament for a game. What does it matter what he believes? Like, damn, I mean, he put it out in a pretty inflammatory way, and it's a really bad look. But like, it's just a fucking belief. And if he goes to a tournament and brings it up there, I get the ban. I get it. But then you would have to go enforce it on both sides. Even if you don't believe something, you can just be nice to people. Like, I mean, I noticed a bunch of people in my chat going, like, when I said that Salt, you can see her cock, and a bunch of people in my chat were like, her? What do you mean her? It's like, that's her pronouns. What is wrong with you? Just, like, chill. And if you didn't want the comments talking about her cock, then she shouldn't go around with a fucking giant bulge at the tournament. Like, I don't think she should be in a competitive scene even. I think she deserves a ban for that. And that has nothing to do with being trans. It's just not something you do. Anyways.
Religious delusion.
And as soon as my local TOs put up that I was going to be potentially banned, for things that they found on my Twitter that went against kind of the wokest leftist agenda, because, you can't speak out against that. Most of the TOs in the mob and Smash align with that. So I said some things counter to that on Twitter, and that's reason enough for me to have been banned from my local scene.
Do you not understand the basics of social psychology? They don't just like magically disappear and stop playing after you ban them.
And that same day, I went to some of my friends and said, well, it's time to start a counter scene to the Smash scene, because what else can I do? I've gotten back into Smash. I love it. I like it. And there's something wrong going on here. So Mana Monthly was created that day.
If you have no roadmap to redemption, no guarantee that they can return if they change their behavior, and will forever treat them like an irredeemable piece of shit.
I know the TOs don't care, but that's actually my point. See, they offer no solution for somebody like me. And they just say, yeah, just go away, just move on. I don't accept just moving on just like that for something that I put so many years into. I put passion into it. And they're gonna just frame me out as a racist for their own amusement.
They're going to keep playing the game, but now they're pissed at you specifically and are going to be even more right-wing and...
There you go. There you go. That's I just don't think it's a bad. I think it's a bad thing to step in with shit like this. Just let them be. Just let them have the political opinions they want to have, and just like play the game. That's the thing. But like politics is so polarizing in America. But I do get that like there's a lot of trans people in the scene, and it's a difficult moral dilemma because like these people feel they have enough going on in their lives normally because it's difficult being trans, and then they have people in the scene saying shit like that. Then it's like, yeah, you kind of feel for them, you know. So I get it, but it's just like, even then, it's I don't know.
In spite of you, you've effectively created your own radicalization pipeline, and then soy face when you see more political extremism. No bullshit, I'm being 100% genuine when I tell you this. The solution is to get rid of politics entirely, not to shoot up a fucking signal flare to your opposition every time you feel your worldview being slightly challenged. If you did that one simple thing, you wouldn't have to deal with a two-party system and radical political activism in a Nintendo party game.
Yo, Zion, I don't really know you. You wish you were me, bro. Stop being so fucking transphobic. Maybe we'd let you back in this fucking community. Bitch!
But you've made it very clear that you prefer engaging in radical political activism. You are all incredibly naive, and I'm certain that even when you know the answer, you will continue to sabotage yourself, and nothing will change anytime soon. Oh, would you look at the time? Whoa, I can't believe Technicals in his new video said how he hates gay people. I mentioned this concept kind of briefly and almost like jokingly in the Victims of Leffen video, but it is a serious and prominent problem when it comes to how they handle differing ideas and handling conduct. Both before and after Hax passed away, people somehow think it's entirely my fault Hax's situation was mishandled. If you want to make that argument, you'd have to ignore how the Smash community has existed for over 2 decades, and in that time frame has failed to create a centralized form of conduct management every single time.
I don't think Smash could govern itself.
That can't all possibly be my fault, right? I haven't even been here that long. I got globally banned like 5 years ago for making fun of Esam and his wife, which I don't regret at all, by the way. It was totally worth it, and I'd do it again. In fact, I literally did it again just over a month ago. So let me get this straight. If this is your argument, then you're telling me that the community for the highest selling fighting game of all time gets derailed by one banned, modestly sized YouTuber, and that doesn't
Where
make
did that
you
avatar go? What is this gay shit? What is that? Where's the wheelchair? What is this? Dude.
question the competence
Bring back the wheel. Is that fucking biscuit?
of the people in charge? Okay, I'm just saying.
No, it's
just
not.
seems like a lot to take in, but if that's the narrative you want to roll with, I can't stop you. If you didn't want me to be the spokesperson for free hacks, here's a novel idea. Maybe you should have said something for your friend and helped him out of a shitty situation.
There's a lot of nuance here that you have to take with a grain of salt, and if I have to become the guy that does that investigative work and is the arbiter of all of this, like, I don't know, I just don't want that to be me. You know what I'm saying?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah, maybe I could have said free hacks a few more times. Maybe I should have said it on Twitter instead of being a giant pussy. But I can say 4 hacks now and mean it and push it because we can prevent this from happening.
I'm only using these clips of Hungrybox to kind of illustrate a broader point here because I think he said it best. I don't think conversations had to happen privately. I think they were held privately because Smash players are massive pussies and want to avoid getting criticized. That's why on Reddit they're now banning links from Twitter and planning an exodus to Blue Sky, or really just anywhere they don't have to see other people's opinions.
You know what we need to do? Honest to God, we have to move back to Reddit.
I know I've given Juan a lot of shit over the years, busting his balls, but as a man, I have a newfound respect for him. Nobody has genuinely felt as remorseful as I think he does. He apologized directly to Hax's mom, admitted his faults multiple times, which as someone who already helped Hax by letting him join his tournaments, he really didn't have to. He could have flown under the radar very easily and just waited out the storm like everyone else. But he didn't. As someone who probably knows what it's like to get alienated by his peers, there's a certain level where I can empathize with him and understand why he might not want to be put back in that position. But that's definitely not the case for everybody. That's a very unique situation. Don't use Juan. Don't use Juan now. You're not Hungrybox, okay? And no, I didn't just learn empathy at 27.
Before I let you out of here though, one last thing. Can I get a free hacks?
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Get out of here. I'm not trying to get you. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I can't make a joke. That's crazy. I'll see you later, man. Get out of here before you get killed.
What is that? What does he have to play? Like they get so uncomfortable. Like, bro, what, bro, dude, whoa, no, you can't say that. You can't. He said Voldemort. You can't say that.
Get out of here, Zane.
He just leaves.
After that infamous clip of Zayn with EE, he went on to say free Hax was damaging, Hax needed help, not from him of course, and then sympathized with how hard TOing is and vouched for their good faith nature. I used to run my own event back in the day. It's not that fucking hard unless you're running like a super major. I can understand the logistics of that being a lot more complicated, but every TO's job is not fucking hard. You set up a bracket and you announce matches. Whoop-de.
You have no idea. This guy, Tacticals, I'm sure he knows. He's just making a point here. I'm sure, Tacticals, I'm sure you know this. And you're making a point, but you guys have no idea how lazy and fucking worthless TOs are. How like they would just do anything but that one simple job at a tournament. They would fuck around. They'll go take a shit for 2 hours. They'll go masturbate in the bathroom. They'll go fucking do anything but to set up the matches and call out the names. Anything. They're so useless. You have no idea. I mean, maybe it's just. I mean, I was mostly in Spain during Smash. Maybe the Spanish people are lazy. It could maybe they had the siesta or something. But whenever I was there, like my friends would always complain that like, dude, I gave this guy this one job, do one thing during the tournament, and he did not do it. And the other guy, the other guy I had as a backup, he didn't do it either. The third guy, the fucking janitor of the venue, just in case I told him, dude, they do it, and I was like, no, I wasn't. He was just gone, didn't do it. But yeah, it's. I'm just side note. This is a side note. It can be very challenging to host a small tournament because people are fucking dog shit.
Fucking do. But saying all of that made him reminiscing on how much Hax loved Melee after his passing ring pretty hollow, especially considering he peddled the same narrative that kept him banned for no reason. Unbanning him serves as a band-aid for a much larger problem. Who gives a fuck if it's a band-aid? You give a kid a Spider-Man band-aid and they're like one of the fucking Avengers. They're ecstatic. They're all over the place. They're good as new. I think we should have tried that. It could be Dora or whatever, just some kind of band-aid, some kind of adhesive strip. Maybe if he got a band-aid once in a while, he wouldn't have gotten an infection in his amputated leg. Clearly, in hindsight, you guys were wrong the entire time. But the only one man enough to apologize and admit it, again, is Hungrybox. Oh yeah, Zane's post kind of reminds me of how, in Moki's remembrance post, he says, "In the last couple of years, there are things that I regret, and wish that I'd have done differently, and frustrations that I wish I'd made a better effort to voice differently. But they came from a place of care, and wanting to see someone who I called a friend and an inspiration succeed." Dude. You saw a post of a tournament series giving Hax a chance, and you took a joke out of context to quote retweet that post, to smear him, and try to keep him banned.
The best way to get me on ban is to make other players look bad. We have to be able to directly compare my behavior to other people. Show them that I'm not that bad after all. Yo, that's like the best way if you want the truth. Get those Moki clips out.
Then you responded that you knew it was a joke after he apologized to you and said it wouldn't happen again, which he didn't have to do. And then you said how he could tweet about growth and reflection all he wanted, but you were not seeing it. Just shut the fuck up, Moki. No one is buying this. Why don't you go join Salt and tell someone to himself at a tournament again? Fucking yourself. As someone who speaks up on these topics a lot, sometimes I genuinely wonder how things would have gone if Etika was still around, because we would have been in the same kind of sphere. He was a big fan of Drama Alert, I'll tell you that. Because when I think about his famous motto, at least he wasn't a bitch and always spoke his mind. He was actually my main motivation to try to stop this from happening, because even though at the time I would have had no impact, I still felt insanely embarrassed and regretted that I didn't take it seriously. But I understand that not everyone learns their lesson, and it's way easier to just sit there and watch me get all the hate while you pretend like your private Discord chats are actually moving the needle.
I think people thought that like nobody talked about it. I promise you, every top player, TO, we've all had discussions about it. We just didn't do it online.
Oh, dude, Zane and I, do you know how many phone calls Zane and I had trying to figure out the best way to navigate how to deal with Hax and try to like help him out? Literal 2-hour phone calls at least once a month for like a year straight.
If you think I'm being hyperbolic like Leffen, take a look at how fucking delusional some of these Smash players are, who have decided to build an evil caricature of me in their minds. Most of these are after he passed and after I attended the funeral and gave my my speech. If I ever see you justify anything Technicals or any adjacent Smash Groiper does, I am cutting you off. There is no—
What is a Groiper? I have no idea what that means. Any adjacent Smash Groiper?
No middle ground in this. You are just a bad person. Very nuanced take.
Right-wing Twitter. Alt-writer? Don't worry about it. Okay, yeah, nice. It's bad word, it's bad.
In some sort of prison for the amount of shit he has purposefully omitted for clout, though. Fuck that guy. Like what? They always say this shit, but then they don't provide a source. Can you please tell me what you were talking about? I hope technicals, full stop. I'm not finishing that sentence, even though I want to so bad. Maybe if you were on Blue Sky, you could finish it. I blame you way more than Leffen for Hax's death. Leffen did some bad things that pushed Hax out, but technicals needed to keep Aziz a pariah to use him as a bludgeon. I hope in hell you understand the amount of blood that's on your hands. Again, how is me trying to get his community to accept him again, keeping him as a social pariah? I didn't fucking ban him. That wasn't my decision. Can't help but note that not a single person who is using Hax's terrible situation to dunk on TOs is an actual Melee player. They are just good little foot soldiers for Lord Technicals. Lord Technicals. Yeah, I'm fucking supervillain over here. They do not actually care for the well-being of Hax, they just want their little points. Gross. Okay, well, what about you? What about you guys? Because I've been on Hax's side and advocating for him since 2021. A lot of you didn't start saying shit in favor of him or anything nice about him until after he passed away. So who the fuck here doesn't care about his well-being exactly? Oh, this person privated their account. I can't see that anymore. Any mutuals that still follow technicals in the next 24 hours are catching a block. Was this the most important thing that happened on March 25th? This was the thing you need to make a post about? You had to curate your following list. That had over 700 likes. A lot of these have a lot of likes on them. Should have been technicals. Sorry, not sorry. Rest in peace, Aziz. Couldn't just say rest in peace. Couldn't just say that last part. Had to make it about me first, somehow. This one confused me. There was this post that made its way around the internet from Smash Sisters, and a lot of people were kind of poking fun of it because a majority of the people in the photo were trans women. I didn't say anything about it. I personally didn't give a fuck. Did I miss something? Why is there Smash Sisters discourse? Full Bloom posted a picture of the crew battle, and the Technicals mob found it and starting turfing. You realize there's other people than me and my subscribers on the internet, right? These people have their own agency. Why do you only think in in-group and out-group? It's such a low IQ indication.
Oh, our tribe, good. Technicals, bad. Smash Sister, get bad. Technicals, fault.
After the hack situation, Technicals and Mandalore fans have been in full force spreading bigotry for literally zero reason. A lot of them don't even play Smash either, just have a weird vendetta against the scene in Leffen. Again, other people exist on the internet. What is this? What? This is exactly what they did to Hax. Holy shit, some random guy who also doesn't like Leffen sent him some weird threats. Hax doesn't like Leffen. It must be Hax's fan because he has a bigger number. Here's the bigger number. Wow, it's almost like whenever you let technicals and drama baiters into a community, you get a whole lot of bigotry from people who don't play or care about the game, trying to find excuses to harass people. Again, I would like to reiterate.
It's like technicals didn't interact with the tweet whatsoever. Like, no interaction. Like, I don't even know if technicals saw the tweet. Nothing. No, nothing to ever, like, didn't interact with it. Nothing, like at all. And they were like, no, it's his fault. No, it's his, we got bad comments on it. It's technical. No, it must have been him. It's him. It's him. Thanks, Obama. It's him.
I said nothing about Smash Sisters. I'm not involved in this. I didn't like a tweet. I didn't quote retweet anything. I didn't retweet anything. And then it went viral. I don't know. The fuck do you want me to do about it? Need someone from the Smash community to fuck up Technicals IRL. Put a little fear into him. Lil Chud is out of control. Why? It's always someone else. It's never I'm gonna do it. It's never I gotta put some fear into him because they know they're not going to. Can anybody help? Can anyone put some fear into him, please? So Technicals gotta die, bro. Technicals speaking at Hax's funeral about the Smash community being the reason he's dead is pretty low and disgusting. Honestly hope someone beats his ass. Technicals being at Hax's funeral and spewing blasphemy in front of his embalmed corpse is a level of shame I can't even conceive, let alone digest. Somebody needs to beat Technicals' ass ASAP. Not Gorillionaire. Somebody, please!
Not Gorillionaire.
Beat this guy's ass. Anyone? Nobody? Fuck, man. That's how you know that my speech hit the right target audience, because these are the people who were crying about Leffen getting death threats, yet they're saying that I need to be killed. They don't see the irony of it. They're like, let's keep Hax banned for life because Leffen got death threats, but fucking kill this guy that I don't like, please. So because they dislike me, they justify wanting me assaulted, say I should be killed, I should die. Which, like, if I was Leffen, I would use this to, like, get some media coverage or something and fucking hide away in my house for, like, a week. But none of them are gonna do a fucking thing. It's so obvious. It's just shit talk on the internet. If you grew up playing games like Warzone, you would hear this stuff 24/7. This does not faze me. You gotta be pretty descriptive and accurate if you want to instill fear in somebody. But if this happened to Leffen at any point, they would cry their fucking eyes out and say you need to be banned for the rest of your life. None of these people are gonna have anything happen to them for saying this about me, because the people in charge agree with them, and there's no objective standard of behavior. It's not like a standard where, okay, you broke this is the punishment, it said it right there. No, it's, oh, someone I don't like broke this rule? Okay, now time to actually enforce our code of conduct. And it's so blatantly obvious that that's what's happening. there's absolutely no reason that this had to end like this. You all know you fucked up. I didn't have to make hours of video essays for you to realize that. But while Hacks apologized month after month, where was the accountability for mishandling his situation in the first place? Instead of apologizing and maybe showing him a little bit of grace, they layered on new demands and punished Hacks for being upset at them. In their attempt to reprimand him for perceived wrongdoings, they ironically proved his initial criticisms to hold true. Dangling his passion over his head to force him to go to therapy, issuing a gag order on all criticism of Leffen or discussion of his treatment, and all while providing no real guarantee or pathway to reintegrate as a member of their community. It would be easier to make a list of what isn't considered authoritarian here. If you guys learn one thing from this, let it be that sometimes you don't need to fix everything all at once. Sometimes a band-aid and friends who care about you really is enough. The Smash community denied him both. They knew exactly what he was asking for and chose to ignore him because they knew what was best. Did you get the result you wanted? Do you feel like you did everything right? Was your arrogance worth it? Do you feel like you won? Did you minimize harm and maximize happiness?
What a set. Hacks Money out at 4th place at Genesis 7. Hungrybox moves on to face Mango. Hacks played so well. I'm so proud of him. I really am. I mean, yeah, you're right. I've known him for more than 10 years. I've known him since he was a small boy. A small boy. A small boy. And, you know, what a story. It's like the spirit of Melee. So many of us have played the game for years and years and years and years, and we haven't really made it to the stage where we feel we can play.
Right.
And here he is.
Here he is. His last
a testament to all of us who've worked so hard.
Yeah.
That's all I had left to say. Hacks always did want to set the record straight, and I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't at least pay my respects one last time. I haven't been able to sleep much because all I've been doing is going over information, reading documents, gathering clips, just knowing in the back of my head that none of it fucking matters. It doesn't matter. Nothing's gonna change here. I've been doing this for 5 years. 5 years I've watched them not do a single fucking thing. I've watched them all stand on podiums and declare that there's going to be change. Declare that there's going to be more effort put forth to handle conduct. For 5 years, they've done fuck all. There is nothing to show for it. And if the Smash community doesn't stop and take a hard look at themselves and fix the way that they deal with conduct, it won't be Nintendo that kills the game. It'll be a slow and painful road paved brick by brick with good intentions. Thank you guys for watching. I know it was a long video, and rest in peace, man.
Smash is a game should have ended 20 years ago. Smash is a very good game, man. I think it's good, and going to Smash tournaments and being part of the community is a lot of fun, man. It's just annoying that like the people behind it all are just like complete pussies, basically. Man, I can never look at Cody the same way again after the fake mom story. That was wild. That was so wild, dude. The moist, the Smash community is such a cesspool, man.